right now.
Famous words in motorsport.
What is this? 480. Let's go.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
While they're doing like the pace laps and shit, let me go get a couple bottles of water. This is 2 hours and 7 minutes.
Hope you're having a great birthday weekend, America. We celebrate it with you. The engines have fired, and we're about to move 400 miles closer to the Winston Cup Championship. It's a long drive, but we have 3 guys that can take you for the ride better than anybody. Alan Bestwick, Wally Dallenbach, and Benny Parsons.
Bill, thank you. Can't tell you how excited we are to be here at Daytona tonight and to bring you the race for the championship. BP, let's start talking teammates. How are they going to play into tonight's race, and how will tonight's race play into the championship?
Well, never has working together been more important than it is today in superspeedway racing. And who better to work with than a teammate? We talked to Kurt Busch about that, and Kurt said, we understand we have Kenza, our teammate back there. We need to work with him.
Was that
5
Benny
round cars,
Parsons?
30th or back.
He
They need to
dead.
get together, get around Matt Kenza, and take him to the front and protect him,
Let me
because
put up
after all,
video.
staying
Ah!
in Talladega, you can take
That
some
was one of
serious
my
hits.
3 bottles of
Point
water that I
championship lead.
got.
And you're right. And I tell you what, to beat DEI, you're going to have some teamwork.
Is that Wally
3 guys can do
Dallenbach?
it. There's 3 teammates that can do it. Childress Racing.
He
But 2 of
races
those guys don't
sports
play well
cars.
together, and that's Robbie Gordon and Kevin Harvick. So it should be real interesting. I think those guys can do it, but
Looks like
it's going
Wally
to
and then
be, it's gonna
Alan
be fun to watch
Bestwick.
tonight.
Yeah, it should be.
I'm
Might be
putting
some
my
fireworks there. Let's talk about another set of
earbuds
teammates.
in.
The
Hello,
guys
I'm
on
here.
pit road. They might decide who wins this race.
Well, pit
Hi, Ryan.
position
Hello
is
here.
So
I'm
it's so
lecturing
hard
for-
to pass once you get by that 3rd or 4th position. Back in the pack, you can pass. And what better place to do it than on pit road? It might be, the race may be decided on pit road tonight.
Benny, you are right. And it's real important also how you get into pit lane. You've got to charge into this pit, but you got to be careful not to lock your tires up, because there'll be guys taking only 2 tires. If you lock up that left front tire, you may flat spot it, it may cause problems.
Remember that they use the smaller 13.5-gallon fuel cell.
Oh yeah, that's Alan Bestwick. You can tell by his voice.
No, his name's Alan Worstwick.
Yeah.
Including Angie Everhart, the co-grand marshal, the last action hero. When we
Who?
come back to look at the starting lineup, and the cars will be on the track.
I'd like to welcome all of you to NBC.
Oh, goodbye, Jeff Gordon.
At Daytona International Speedway, cars are on the track getting ready for the 45th running of the Pepsi 400. Delighted to be here to bring it to you on NBC.
Greg Biffle's first win. Who's dropping to the back? Steve Park?
The official beer of NASCAR is proud to sponsor
Wait, why is he driving for Childress?
qualifier in each NASCAR Winston Cup race. This week, Steve Park picked up his first Daytona Bud pole.
Is he not in the 1 car?
For next February's Budweiser show.
Oh, I think this was when he was splitting time in the 1 car with John Andretti.
Starting lineup for tonight's Pepsi 400. Alongside Park is Richard Childress' teammate Kevin Harvick.
I don't know why they did that, though.
Row number 2, Jeff Gordon and Sterling Marlin. Between them, 11 wins at the restrictor plate racetracks. There's the Dale Earnhardt Incorporated dominators. Dale Earnhardt Jr.
They were on the tear during this time period.
Continue the dominant streak tonight.
Kenny Spreader on the inside of row 4 is best super speedway starting over a year. And Jamie McMurray finished 3rd last night, started 30th. In row 5 on the inside, Elliott
Jeremy Meth Mayfield.
finished 3rd at Talladega.
Yes.
April, and Jeremy Mayfield, Talladega pole winner. Back in row 6, Jimmy Johnson, who led the most laps at Talladega, and Casey Mears on the outside.
Tony Stewart, Bill Elliott. Back in the 7th row, Stewart the defending series champion. And while you look at the rest of the starting lineup, we told you it was an all Richard Childress Racing front row. How about the 3rd member of that team, BP?
Robbie Gordon is starting back in the, there we go, in the 18th position. Robbie Gordon, Benny Parsons up at NBC. You got
Where is Andretti?
Hi there, Benny. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing okay. What's your biggest concern tonight, Robbie?
What I was just checking right there, Benny, I was checking my brake bias, just making sure that I don't lock up the rear tires, getting in the pit. It's probably one of the best places to pass all night long. We got a pretty good car. Everybody on the singular wire team's been working real hard. That victory, 2 weeks ago at Sonoma has helped build a lot of momentum for the second half of the season.
Bobby, don't forget you can't have too much front brake because you may slide those front tires and flat spot them making pit stops.
Jeff Green. Oh yeah, it was Green because Green usually drives the 30 car. They swapped.
I think so. My two teammates up there, Steve Park, I want to congratulate him driving the AOL car. And again, Harvick, you know, they're on the front row. We've got the same stuff they got. We just missed a little bit in qualifying, so hopefully we'll get up there to them soon.
Good luck to you.
Fine.
Stacy Compton scratch on the field in the 4 car. Here are those who failed to qualify for the race. The top 2 of those, Petty Enterprises cars. Kyle Petty saying the engine department let him down this week. Kyle starting way back in the field in 42nd spot. Stories from pit road before we go green. Matt, you're first.
Alan, many in the garage feel like Sterling Marlin's a sleeper in the field. You ask Sterling, he says he could be the favorite to knock off the DEI contingent.
Sterling Marlin.
What a guy.
He's actually a fit.
I have that diecast over on my bookshelf. He was the guy who got out of his car during the red flag in the Daytona 500 and pulled down the fender and got disqualified because he's an idiot. And then he broke his neck at Kansas. Ruined his championship run in 2002.
Do you have a favorite diecast?
Out of all the ones I have? Oh man. I don't know. Probably not. I have an autographed Casey Kane Darlington throwback that's pretty cool. I don't know if I'd say I have a favorite though.
Was a talented race car driver 2 months ago looking for a break, and he got it by getting the pole at California, but the joy
I don't like Casey Kane.
Why not?
He doesn't look normal.
He's sexy. What you mean?
I think he came down here with fucking Zuckerberg.
He's just an alien. I like Casey Kane.
Tonight, Park has a very rare opportunity, a chance to reprove himself to his driver friends that he is indeed a worthy
Something about those eyes. I don't trust.
You don't trust aliens.
Okay, Marty, there you see Steve Park leading this field around on their final parade and pace lap before we get started. One other pre-race pit road issue, Ricky Craven's car did not roll off initially from pit lane. They had a little windshield issue with his car.
Windshield? How do you have a windshield issue? It's plastic.
Maybe it came off.
Wrong visor?
He needed a lighter tint on the visor, and that was it.
Okay, so a helmet issue instead of the windshield issue.
What an idiot.
They are just letting the 4-car, the Stacy Compton-driven machine, go from the inspection area. So he'll rejoin the end of the field. It was scheduled to start last anyway, but a fuel cell problem in the tech line sent him back, and they just got it through in race-approved condition.
And there's a 55-mile-per-hour speed limit down pit road. My advice would be don't speed trying to get in the field.
That counts now, too, huh?
Yes.
All right, it'll take 160 laps to make up 400 miles tonight here on this 2.5-mile Daytona track. A whopping $5.2 million at stake.
You see that pit window? That is doggone important. 40 laps, divide 160 by 40. That's 4 times. If you can make it to 40, you save a pit stop. Maybe a splash and go somewhere along the line. I've talked to some drivers and crew chiefs in the garage area. They felt like this race could be won on fuel mileage tonight.
It was. It was a fuel mileage race. As
What?
As
So I just.
wait, no, you.
So
Yeah.
So I was just sitting there thinking, wow, is there any fucking is there sitting there fucking, are there any courses like NASCAR tracks in like the West?
Yeah.
Huh.
You got Auto Club Speedway in Fontana. You have Phoenix, and then you have Vegas. And those are the like tracks that NASCAR goes to, but there's a lot of short tracks in the California area. USAC's really big over there. Here we go.
Are they gonna start speeding up?
Yes.
Just start going fast?
Yes. There they go.
God, our cameras have gotten so much better.
I know, right? Plus, it doesn't help that this is probably like pulled from a VHS tape.
pulled from a VHS tape and then put through fucking YouTube's compression system.
Yeah. It probably could maybe be 7. It maybe was like 760 when we started. Maybe.
I think standard def was 480.
Yeah.
That's out of bounds. The yellow line all the way around the track.
Dude, the car sounded so good back then.
The most dangerous, but believe me, they're the easiest to gain some positions.
3 deep.
And it's also probably the next couple laps the best time to be in the middle because this is the best your tires are going to be right here. So you've got more.
I love plate racing.
Later, so you can run in the middle.
Stacy Compton back there trying to catch up. He's not going to catch up.
No. Oh, that one guy in the very back.
Yeah, he's not going to catch up. He has no draft.
On board, Kurt Busch.
Kurt Busch.
26th place is where Kurt Busch runs in these opening laps.
They're so close to each other. I love it.
Yep, Gordon on board as he looks back. The rear bumper of Gordon. Right behind him is Dale Earnhardt Jr. He'd like to keep him back there for the rest of the night.
Whew, we got close to the wall.
The bottom line last night, the Busch race, it seemed like a lot of guys would run low. That seems to be the fast way right now.
On board for Robbie Gordon.
Stacy Compton still back there.
Close he was to that car directly in front of him.
Like Homer when he's chasing the fucking garbage truck. Oh, he's catching up, kinda.
He's still in the back.
No, that was a different guy.
Yum, 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 yum.
Dude, they're so
And
fast.
then they just cut before the other guy.
Yeah, like me and PRL.
Check out Kurt Busch, Benny. He started back in 31st place. Last time at the start-finish line, he was 17.
Oh,
Made his way halfway through to the
those
front.
Pontiacs look so good. Because that was the first year that they facelifted the Grand Prix, and it was Pontiac's last year in NASCAR.
Pontiac being a car company.
Yeah, right?
Pretty good. Awesome so far, VP, and that's exactly what they hoped for. Jimmy Finning built a brand new race car for the Daytona race here in July. Didn't like what he had in Daytona in February. Didn't like what he had at Talladega. So he built a brand new car for you.
Kurt Busch behind Ricky Craven.
The car would draft
That's,
well. So far,
That was
so
that
good.
Darlington finish, Kurt Busch and Ricky Craven in 2003, when it was like the closest finish ever.
Place. Steve Park shuffled to the
.001.
Something like that, yeah.
Second, third, fourth, fifth.
Oh, there goes Steve Park. He's backing up to Sterling to get that draft because he got shuffled out.
No one to help Steve Park. Sterling Marlin is finally going to come and give
Now,
him
this is when they're all going to become cowards and get single file.
eighth position.
Yep, that's a little too late.
I mean, a lot of the front part of the fucking thing is single file.
Yeah.
Really quick right now.
Although, these kind of older races, they do stay 2 and 3 wide for most of the race because they were not cowards back then.
Trying to work his way through. Maddie's up to 13.
Now it's literally just a choo-choo train against the wall until like the last 20 laps, and then they start wrecking left and right, and then half the time it just ends under caution.
And everyone's America car.
Yeah, Mikey's Stars and Stripes car. I almost got that diecast.
Most of these cars look like shit and balls to me.
He's made a lot of positions up.
Well, Mark Martin's in the Viagra car.
Like that red one.
Which one?
It's got like a boxy-ish front.
Couple cars right now. He's got a lot of
It's
momentum.
not any of these cars, unless it's the one that we're in.
It might be Robbie Gordon's singular wireless car.
Kurt Busch as they slice through traffic.
Yeah,
That
it's
one?
that one.
Yeah.
Kenseth back in 21st.
It's also 480p.
Yeah, that car, the one that's right behind it, the blue one, that one's not bad.
The Viagra car.
Yeah.
Mark Martin, my mom's favorite driver.
Bill, Steve Park sliding back.
Sliding back. We're probably pretty pleased at this point. They're goals.
Sterling pushing the shit out of Mikey. Oh my god.
He's on that good Look.
Here comes Kurt Busch with a run. He's not going to push him through the corner.
You're not gonna make it past Mr. Irwin.
Mr.
and
Fish.
AOL. Those are such
Boring
boring color schemes. That's like the NASCAR colors, blue and yellow. Like Napa, Irwin, AOL. When that was
AOL. America Online, baby. Dear God. I still have an AOL email account.
I've only ever used Gmail. Speaking of only ever using Gmail, I'll be back. I'm gonna go smoke.
Wait, what does that have to do? What?
Started 23rd. Robbie Gordon, he's back in the middle again.
Coming back. Now he's getting behind his teammate, though. Yeah, Robbie's got a good race car. If he can get somebody to work with him right now.
Who was in that 01 car? Was that Nemechek? Or is that Nadu still? No, it's after Richmond, so Nadu had already had his crash.
A little bit of glare there off turn 4.
A little bit, but it used to be terrible about 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, but this is fine.
Schrader hanging in 4th still in that BAM racing car.
And Dale Earnhardt Jr. looking on the high side for second place around Jeff Gordon.
It's not going to stick, I doubt it.
Schrader trying to go with Jr.
There you go. Schrader!
If he can pull this off, that's going to be impressive.
He's trying to side draft, but
Elliott Sadler in that 38 car just kind of pushed.
Elliott's just too locked up with him.
Nice run in the early laps for Elliott. Started 9th.
And now Junior's hung on the outside as his drafting teammate or drafting mate, Kenny Schrader, dove to the inside.
Bobby Labonte passed him. Tony Stewart's up there. Bobby Labonte.
Craven back there trying to get the side draft.
Junior's going to need Michael. He's looking for Michael in that mirror right now because these guys know that if they're going to beat Earnhardt and Walter, they got to separate it.
Michael's back in 10th spot.
Yeah, they do have to split them up, because those DEI cars were on like a super speedway tear during that era.
182, 183 on Dale Jr., 184.
Oh my God, my
The
head.
car goes in the corner and the springs start collapsing. That's when you start picking up, you start losing some miles per hour. And not much. 5 miles per hour, you're right, not much.
Orange car you're looking at, Ricky Craven. Finish.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just talking, you look at the brake now. I don't see that light coming on. Now, you won't use the brake because you have to use it to slow the car down. What you're going to do is when you get real tight in the pack, you may have to use that brake, you know, and so you'll see that brake light come on and off when you're tapping the brake if you're in a tight bunch right there.
Never backing off the throttle.
Whew, what a block, Robbie.
Brake a little bit.
Now there's Michael Waltrip getting alongside Dale Earnhardt Jr. See if Jr. can find a way to squeeze in line behind him.
No, Sterling's there.
Sterling going to allow it.
Oh, that's tight.
Whew.
Or maybe in front of him.
Here it comes. Now, the 31 will jump out and follow that 8 car.
Sterling's trying to split him up, because that's how they fucked up his Daytona 500.
Yeah, here comes that 31.
Would deviate!
Trying to help Junior out and himself.
And himself, right.
Junior's going to get behind Michael right there. All right, so the two guys that have dominated the races here at Daytona over the last couple of years now hooked up nose to tail. We'll see if they can make any progress. It's Independence Weekend, NASCAR on NBC.
Please skip the commercials.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Clear, all clear.
NBC's coverage of the Pepsi 400 is brought to you by Pepsi-Cola. Experience the joy of Pepsi. By Pontiac, fuel for the soul. By Lowe's Home Improvement Warehouse, Lowe's improving home improvement. And by new Berry Burst Cheerios.
Kevin Harvick is the leader of the Pepsi 400, but it's the Dale Earnhardt Incorporated duo that is on the move.
Where they go? They're running up the outside.
Trying to get by Tony Stewart. Couldn't do it on the inside. Handy on the outside. They have some help. Oh, the 42 car goes up the block. Jingman McMurray.
Who is that?
That's Jeff Gordon.
Ah.
Isn't it?
Yeah. And Elliott Sadler in the 38. All the different. Look at this. Michael Walter 3 deep to the outside. Now pulls it back in behind Elliott Sadler. Bill, you got something for us from Earnhardt Jr.'s pit?
Well, Alan, Dale Earnhardt Jr. got trapped back in traffic and thought he was going to hook up with the 32 of Ricky Craven, but Craven couldn't hang on. So in that traffic, Junior was like a hunting dog looking for the 15 of Michael Waltrip, and they found it, and now they are marching their way toward the front. This is the combination to beat right now. It is 41 cars out there against those two.
Mikey's going to cross him over.
He dives to the inside. Snyder.
One of the goals for most of the teams was to keep those two teams apart. Obviously, they were looking for each other. Michael Waltrip had said nothing on the radio, but he told me this afternoon that the scenario he liked was Junior pushing him. He said, by myself, I can't pass Junior, but I think by ourselves, he could pass me if he wanted to.
Matt, Marty, another set of teammates that were looking for each other. The Gibbs guys, Tony Stewart and Bobby Labonte.
That's a weird font for the H38.
Michael trying to get the 18 of Labonte up to him. Now they've hooked up. Tony says, let's just stay in line and ride this all the way to the front.
They were separated.
That makes sense because Tony and Junior loved to draft with each other on plate tracks.
Is between Stewart and Bobby Labonte. Some pretty serious blocking going on there a minute ago, trying to keep Earnhardt Jr. and Waltrip back, huh?
Yeah, and that's what these guys have to do. I think they're tired of it, and they got to keep those guys separate. And obviously, on their side of it, Michael and Dale know if those two guys get together, they're going to go to the front and probably stay there.
And they're going right now. It's a battle for the third position between Michael Waltrip and Elliott Sadler in the 38.
Park all the way back to 17.
They're going on the outside.
From Michael Waltrip's car. You know, the last 10 races run using the carburetor restrictor plates here at Daytona and at Talladega, 10 races between Michael Waltrip and Dale Jr. They've won 8 of them. Junior 5, Waltrip 3.
So what are you saying? They're pretty good on these tracks?
I'm saying that if I were calling a favorite, it'd be one of those two cars.
Jimmy Johnson currently
Stacey
in
Compton,
second
20
spot.
seconds
Looks
back. He never cut the field.
Michael.
You know, here's the funny thing. We've been talking about these guys all thinking in their minds they needed to do what they could do to keep the 15 and the 8 back. 15 and the 8 are moving. Look at the guys lined up in that outside lane behind him now. Okay, if you're going to get to the front, we're going to hitch on to that.
Oh, sure. I mean, you're going to be selfish on this deal. If you think you're going to pull up 5 or 6 positions by getting on their bumper, they're going to do it.
Schrader got shuffled back to 28.
Jimmy Johnson continue to try and hold off Michael Waltrip and Dale Earnhardt Jr. 18 of 160 laps are done. Just completed 50 miles of the Pepsi 400. Here's our Stacker 2 track fact. Changing this race to a night race. 1998 really has made a difference. It's much more enjoyable for the fans, much more comfortable for them to be in the grandstands.
I'll tell you what, it was miserable walking through the garage here today because it was so hot here at the Speedway, and it used to be the same way when the race in the afternoon. But the lights, you're right, it's so comfortable here now.
A lot more relief from inside those race cars.
Yeah, the Firecracker 400 used to be insane. I can imagine how hot it would be in July compared to February. I mean, Florida's always hot, but in July,
You know, we've used the
yeah.
word drafting a lot so far today. It has nothing to do with picking players for a ball team. As we go inside our Home Depot virtual garage, it's all about air.
Here we go. We're going to try to show you what it's all about. Here's one car going through the air. You can see the air coming over the back of the car. Kind of drops down over the spoiler. When you get another car come up behind you, that air goes over both cars. It takes the air off the rear spoiler of the front car, and it punches a big hole, and you got more momentum. You look at the guy on the inside, he's pushing all the air, where those other two cars are not pushing as much, so they're going to draft on by. You get 8 or 9 of those guys in a line, you can imagine how it busts the air.
Change of position in that lead group. Tony Stewart just shuffled his way around Jeff Gordon and picked up the 5th position. As you look at Kevin Harvick, who's led every lap so far.
Good wrench car out front of Daytona. That's not a new sight at this time.
We'll give you previews and predictions on each Winston Cup race from old BP.
How did Greg even get to the front? Because he is far back. I mean, of course, it's a long race and the complexion changes very much.
Going
But
back to the top of the racetrack, trying to pick up Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s teammate in that red 8 car.
And picking up some help from Stewart momentarily. Which lane's it going to be now? Michael moves to the inside in front of Elliott Sadler.
Tell what those guys are doing a good
Yep,
job.
Junior and Tony are hooked up.
Michael and Junior separated.
That's no surprise.
While we're watching this for the lead, couple of updates. Rusty Wallace started 42nd. He's up to 15th. Jeff Burton started in 36th position, and he's made his way up to the 11th spot. Matt Kenseth started 37th. He's up to 14th. And Kurt Busch, 31st to 8th. Look at the Roush teammates.
Oh yeah, all three of the Roush cars.
They are
And then Biffle, the rookie, no one gives a shit.
Dave, what's going on with Jimmy Johnson?
Well, BP, I just checked with his crew chief, Chad Knaus, and asked him if he was concerned that Jeff wasn't running with Jimmy right now. And he said, no, not at this point. He's running up front where we need him to be. He's just getting a little bit tight off of turn 2 at this point. Marty?
Dave, Elliott Sadler's car working very well right now. We've talked about how pit strategy could play a big role in tonight's race. And when it comes to that, that is going to be to the detriment of Robert Gates Racing. The 38 and the 88 cannot go far on fuel. The most they can go is 36 laps, Bill.
Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s car is tight. That's why he's having some trouble in this traffic. He's also driving with blisters on his hands. Even though he wore gloves in the Busch race last night, he still has blisters and creases on his hand from that race. Tony Eury Jr. said that's really not a problem, but what might be, he just called it on the radio, says, I think I have something on the grill that could lead to an overheating problem.
We'll keep an eye on that for sure. Now, the first round of pit stops will be coming up somewhere around lap 35.
A weird scheme for Tony.
13.5-gallon fuel cells used here at Daytona. So let's take a break here. We'll come back, get set up for those ever-important visits to pit road. Kevin Harvick leads the Pepsi 400. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. The massive Daytona International Speedway. Tonight's site of the Pepsi 400. It's 45th running.
There's the
Better than
airstrip.
160,000 on
There's
hand.
that short track
Watching the drivers of the
outside.
NASCAR Winston Cup Series. Our Wendy's race menu, it's on to the Windy City next weekend, Sunday, 2:30 Eastern Time here on NBC. We continue to follow the race for the championship in Loudon, New Hampshire, Pocono, Pennsylvania, and Indianapolis for the Brickyard 400. Was that you I heard going, oh, oh, oh?
Yeah. It was me going, oh, Larry Fort slid through his pit there a little bit.
Coming up on green flag pit stop shortly. Kevin Harvick, the race leader. Jimmy Johnson is second, but Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Michael Waltrip and Tony Stewart have really had kind of a little tussle going for third, fourth, and fifth.
And Michael Waltrip is going inside, outside, and so is Junior. They never can get hooked up right. Wally, what were you talking about a while ago?
Just so you know, when I say, oh, we'll have it. And here it is. See, lock them tires up. What I was talking about earlier, too, in the
nice catch.
beginning of the show.
Yeah, nice catch with the tire. That would have been an uncontrolled tire.
Time. A one hopper to the front tire carrier. Good that we can laugh about it. Coming up to put a lap on the Stacy Compton car, the 4 machine, who's really been off the pace basically since the start of the race. You have a tech inspection problem, and you're thrashing around in the last minutes before the green just to get the car into the race. It's easy to perhaps have not everything be perfectly aligned like it should be. All right,
Especially when you get caught
with
doing something.
with a beat cell? Yeah, okay.
Take a little bit longer to get things done.
Yeah. What are we going to see? 2 tires, 4 tires? What do you think?
I think we're going to see 2.
My guess is 2.
On most of the leaders. All right, we'll see here in just a couple laps.
And BP was talking about earlier how this is real important right here. These pit stops are real important. It's important if they come in under the green, this thing stays green. You're going to see a lot of guys gaining and losing a lot of time getting to pit lane.
If you watch the NASCAR Busch Series last night, you saw cars running 50, 60 laps on fuel. Those cars had a 22-gallon fuel cell. The gas tanks in these cars tonight are about 13 gallons, give or take a half gallon. And so therefore, that's why these cars can only run about 35, 40 laps.
And the reason for that was to break up the big packs all the time.
Make them pit more often to try to break the packs up.
Jeff Burton.
Rusty Wallace really on the charge in the early laps. Started this race in 38th spot.
Oh, it was Mike Wallace in the MV2 car.
Well, and he's been a little bit tight off of turn number 2. They're going to make an air pressure and wedge adjustment that when he comes in. But other than that, no complaints.
So is Nemechek still at
Dave, Kevin Harvick
still at Hendrick?
on the radio until lap 27 when he said his car was
Was it Nemechek's last year at Hendrick before he went to,
Now that's the big question.
Yep,
When do they pit?
25, Nemechek. Almost spent the last year before Vickers came into that ride.
39. The question, will they get any takers? They may have to back it up. May have to back it up to lap 37, Bill.
Jeff Gordon will be in next time. He'll pit next time. Jeremy Mayfield on pit road. Got 2 right side tires. He's on his way. Robbie Loomis told me this morning they'd be one of the first cars in. Expected to be in on lap 34. Marty. The DEI cars will pit on lap 37. Bill, Michael Waltrip says he's a little bit tight, but he wants to leave the chassis alone. Very happy with it. Very frustrated they cannot hook up together and get to the front.
Here comes another group of the leaders to pit road.
Woo!
Here's what we're talking about.
Mike Wallace spun the tires.
That's going to cost
I think that's Mike Wallace. It might be the Finch car. I can't tell. Like in standard definition.
Gordon's in, Elliott Sadler, Ricky Craven. Bill?
Well, this is the big pack right here. Jeff Gordon on pit road. His car's been a little tight. No chassis adjustment. Just enough fuel to fill that small cell. They're going to take 4 tires on this stop. Marty. Kurt Busch speeds off pit road. Pretty happy with his race car. A little bit tight. Half a pound into the right rear, Bill. Trying to loosen him up, Dave.
Rusty Wallace now getting that wedge adjustment. 4 tires for him. Right in front of him, Ryan Newman pits as well. He also gets a chassis adjustment and 4 tires.
It's weird seeing Rusty in a Dodge, but not a Ford. I mean, you know, Newman always drove a Dodge at Penske, but it's weird seeing that Miller Lite car not being a Taurus.
We'll see if those left side tires are in decent enough.
Of course, when Kurt Busch came into it, it's like, yeah, Dodge. Like, that point was established, but you always expect Rusty's Blue Miller, like Blue Deuce, to just be a Taurus.
Has been radioed in by Chad Knaus. He's doing a great job just keep it going. The car was just a little bit tight for Jimmy, but he was still staying up there in the front. So they're going to make a 4-tire change, following suit with everybody else they were talking about too. But now that everyone else has taken 4, they're going to do the same. Crew coming around to the left side. Windshield is clean. He is out of here.
Coming down pit road, going off pit road with Jimmy Johnson. Obviously a 2-tire stop versus the 4. So, all right, here we come. Yep. The DEI cars of Waltrip and Junior coming in together.
Remember, we talked about them smoking those front tires when they came in last night's NASCAR Busch Series race. That was a pretty smooth stop, Marty.
And they warned Michael Waltrip about that. Take care of the tires. Do not flat spot them coming to pit road. This will be a 2-tire stop for the 15 team. A little bit tight. No adjustments, Bill. Chassis adjustment on the 8-2 right side tires. They warned Junior not to slide the tires. He's on his way.
And the 18 Jack Manor tire carrier had to jump out of the way. Matt.
VP, a 4-tire change on Sterling Marlin's Dodge. A little bit of trouble on the left front. The fuel cell's packed full. Tony Stewart's in. A slow stop for Stewart. The car has stalled. They're trying to get it refired. They're pushing the car down pit road. The car still has not fired. Tony Stewart.
There it goes.
Finally pulls away as Kevin Harvick is on his way in with his teammate. The 29 is in. They wanted to try to pit with the 8 and 15. Harvick in. This should be a 2-tire change. Todd Barrier called for a 2-tire change. You can hear him gunning the engine, packing the fuel cell full of fuel. To Bill.
Pole sitter Steve Park on pit road. Chassis adjustment, 4 tires. His car tight. He's got
I've never.
fuel. He's on his way to burn.
Dude, he's pumped.
Take on only 2 tires and pack the fuel cell full.
Fucking tire carrier is pumped. It's weird hearing them rev the motor to try to get it filled up. I wonder why they went to a smaller fuel cell for this race.
And Tony Stewart evidently ran out of fuel. They were putting gasoline in the carburetor. Davis, that one empty, run out of fuel.
Benny, he ran out of fuel, making his way to pit road. That's why you saw them trying to fire the engine in his pit stall.
Wow. All right, here comes Ward Burton onto pit road. Tony Stewart's going to be about a half a lap behind the pack. 22 coasting in. 22's coasting in. He's out of fuel.
And that's just the most recent of his problems. He's got an overheating problem. 270 degrees last time we heard. Around to the right side.
Look at that exhaust.
They got it refired. Now it shuts off again. They're going to have to push it. He's got it. He's on his way. Tough day for Ward, and it's early.
See, I'm not sure when Tony ran out of fuel, but with Ward running out of fuel coming into the pit, they had time to get the things fired up right away. Where Tony's, it didn't look like they even
He was out up in turn 3.
That seems like
I looked up and I saw him off the pace in turn 3. Let me rephrase that. Matt?
This morning when I talked to Greg Zipadelli, the crew chief, and Dave Rogers, the engineer, they had 2 different
Doesn't look like
calculations
Gordon
for the final
and Kenseth
practice
are pitted
session. One,
unless they just have
which was
really good
very good,
stops.
and one which wasn't. They didn't know
Wonder what
which
the
one to
yellow means.
believe.
I wonder if the
They
yellow
were
means
looking to
they've
maybe go
pitted.
in between, but it bit them.
So Tony Stewart is now back in 41st place. Kevin Harvick is the leader, but look who's changed positions on the pit stops.
Junior and Michael Waltrip, second and third, the 2-tire stop. That's what they did all during the Daytona 500. That's why it was such a shock to me when those guys started pitting and changing 4 tires.
Yeah, that me too, VP. I was surprised about that. Obviously, Robbie took 4 tires because he's right up there behind Michael Waltrip right now. Matt Kenseth.
And Michael and Junior both took 2 tires. Junior's crew got him out ahead of Michael's.
Right.
Second place, chasing Kevin Harvick in the Pepsi 400 at Daytona. Just over 100 miles into the 45th running of the Pepsi 400 at Daytona, and just through the first set of pit stops, Kevin Harvick's team held serve, got him out ahead of Dale Earnhardt Jr. But the advantage that Harvick had, which was over 2 seconds just after the pit stops, is evaporated and maybe gone completely.
Taking a look,
Oh, there he
VP.
goes.
He's got a lot of help up there, too.
Man, he has got them lined up. And Robbie Gordon, is he going to go on the outside?
Yeah, is he going to go with the DEI cars, or is he going to go with his teammate?
These guys got to work together.
I mean, they're corporate teammates. They kind of got to work together. But, I mean, Robbie wants to win. That's Robbie. Mikey helped Kevin, and Robbie helped Dale.
Gordon's teammate.
I'm sure Richard Childress is probably talking to the spotter Roger right now saying, man, go with the 29.
You know, funny dynamic between Michael and Junior. And to me, I've seen this play out already tonight. They know they've got to be in front of the other guy. They can be dedicated to pushing him to the finish all they want, but their sort of rule between them is the one that's in front is the one that's going to go, and they are fighting hard to be in front of the other guy.
There's Richard Childress right there. Ready to make the call if he hasn't. Here comes the call.
We talked with Richard on our coverage throughout the weekend about the situation between Robbie Gordon and Kevin Harvick, and he said, I went to Montana. I let them work it out. Then he went fishing. I don't know
What happened?
if that worked or not.
Gets it!
All right, let's check
Matt
out
the
our
Brat,
second race
baby.
poll tonight. Has to do with the race for the championship. Who will overtake Matt Kenseth for the Winston Cup title? Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt,
Nobody.
Bobby the Body, or no one? There are the instructions on how to enter
I've
your
seen the
vote.
future. I am from the future.
Later on in our coverage.
Matt the Brat won the title.
Singular car with Robbie Gordon settling in line now in 6th position. Matt Kenseth, NASCAR Winston Cup Championship leader in that black number 17, started this race in 37th. He's up to 5th.
Well, we saw the Busch race last night. There's a lot of cars.
Everyone thought he was a good plate racer, but fun fact, Matt hated plate racing.
Stuck well because the track was going to be
But I mean, he won 2 Daytona 500s in the Talladega race, so.
He chose to bring a car here that would be a little bit slow qualifying, but would handle well. And it looks like it's working perfectly for him. His strategy, I mean.
All right, just to go back and update, the first driver that got 4 tires on the pit stops is Elliott Sadler, running in 11th now. All the top 10 got just 2 tires on their stops. Scoring serial on Matt Kenseth, a nice steady march to the front.
God, he looks so young.
Jimmy Johnson under Earnhardt Jr.
They're not very content staying single file up there, are they?
They sure are.
Which is good.
I don't know that Junior's car is not running warm. We heard a report earlier that he might have some water temperature problems. That might be one reason that he's diving out to the outside of the corners to try to get a little air through the grill of that car to cool it down.
Watch that yellow line with the block. Waltrip goes way off the top of the track.
Whew!
Johnson to block, Earnhardt Jr. to follow. This is great, isn't it? Good stuff. He's got the fender in there. It's for second place.
Oh, he's not going to try to slide in. Wow. I'm surprised he didn't try to break him up, Jimmy. But, huh.
You know, after the pit stops, the field had really spread
The
out.
29's just fast.
Everybody in the back there getting lined up single file. They closed right up on these front runners. Matt Kenseth on Jimmy.
I don't know if there was a big wreck in this race or what happened. I don't know how the complexion of this race changed because I haven't seen it all the way through. I just know it's Greg Biffle's first win.
He will have passed more cars when this night is over than anybody else on the racetrack.
Going both directions. That's Kurt Busch right behind Bobby Gordon in 97.
I'm trying to get to
Jimmy
Matt.
Johnson was running second just a couple of laps ago. Not anymore.
So many guys, the teams tonight, because of the specialness of this night race at Daytona, bring out the different paint jobs. Yes, that is a different look to Kurt Busch's car than you normally see. Bill, how about Earnhardt Jr.?
Just want to update that paper on the grill thing. No big issue. Not there anymore. No temperature problem. So that's not an issue with the 8 car.
All right.
Welcome back.
Communication back and forth.
Yeah.
Heard this a minute ago.
Look at the stupid logo on this car. Alexan.
Oh, Lex.
We got a Chevy up there.
Yes.
Voice of Richard Childress, the owner. I think it's an interesting.
Who was first at the time when he said that?
Why are the cars so wobbly?
Kevin Harvick. Yeah, exactly.
Because they're going fast.
Yeah, but like, wouldn't they have good suspension?
I mean, not necessarily. I mean, it's... One, this is before the Daytona repave, so it's really abrasive. This is like old worn out Daytona. And secondly, if the suspension is like super stiff and you're going this fast, I think you risk like breaking shit more.
You're looking in the mirror as much as you're looking out the front windshield.
And it's just super speedway packages have changed a lot since back then and then now. The Gen 4 cars were just really sketchy in the first place. These were not safe cars. I don't know how more people didn't die in them, but these cars were not safe. They rolled everywhere, they crumpled, they
looked ugly.
I like them, but I think it's just because I grew up watching them.
I can't stand like that era cars in general, so.
That's fair.
Scott Dale behind him. Harvick moves up the track, and boy, Michael just cut right underneath that bumper, but he had the momentum. Now you watch here, Harvick tries to keep him pinned down a little bit.
Tries to side draft him. Does he get him back? Dear God. Kevin's on rails. No. He did get the lead.
Kevin Harvick has led 53 of the 56 laps so far.
Oh, they're 3 deep back there. They're not being cowards back there. Oh my God.
Let's take a look at our Aflac trivia question, shall we? Okay. Test your knowledge.
What is my knowledge? Competed in the most races before his first Michael Waltrip.
Win.
I know the answer. Do you know why?
462. 453. I was close. No, 463.
463rd race.
Yeah, 462 losses, and then he won in his 463rd. Yeah, I was right.
And the 2003 Daytona 500.
I have a child.
Nice. I have 6 children. What's
What
up?
the fuck?
I'm gonna play that after this.
Dude, my child is a whiz kid.
Nice.
Again, the 468. Not been done before, not been done since.
Matt Kenseth, 17 cars.
I accidentally killed one of my sims, so I had to reset, so I had to remake the room.
Should've just left him dead. Is the way of life.
Yeah, but I accidentally debugged her out of existence.
Rip. That's even better. No negative moodlets.
You're watching NASCAR on NBC.
They won't get sad that they're dead.
Welcome back to Daytona on a spectacular night. The
Pepsi 400 has been a part of racing Americana for 45 years, and it just continues to grow and get bigger and bigger. Michael Waltrip going for his 3rd straight win at this track out front. We've been waiting since Homestead in November to do this, so it's time to take you through the field, and we'll start with the 15 car. Let's go down pit road and get that report from Marty Snyder.
Michael Waltrip is glad to finally be out front, Bill. He struggled to get to the front and hasn't had his teammate Dale Earnhardt Jr. pushing him there all night long. We're not saying much about the car right now, pitting on lap 79, Dave.
Jimmy Johnson's crew gave him 4 tires and made an adjustment to fix a little bit tight condition when he was in last time. Now, even though he's running second, the car is skaty. We got a spin on the track.
Dave Blaney.
Off turn 2.
That's not going to be a caution, is it?
Looks to be a one-car incident, and the caution flag is out for
What?
the first time in the race. Dave Blaney was running in 26th place at the time of his spin.
Well, you'll like this, Ryan. Now they'll stack the field back up.
He's got a left front flat. That probably happened after he had the tires locked up going 180. And that pavement that
Stupid
Blaney's
yellow
going
car.
down into was a safety feature added here at the Speedway several years back. Before a spin like that, he'd have been in the grass and probably upside down.
Yep, you're right, because that pavement, at least the car stay flat when you're spinning on the pavement, but when you get in that grass and you get sideways on the grass, it usually hooks the wheels and you start rolling.
The car starts bouncing up and down. He gets air underneath it, and away he goes. Let's see if we can see what happened to Blaney as he came off turn 2.
Way up there high, you can see him.
He
way
get
up
hooked?
high. Got a little help.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, he did.
Who's that? Mark Sterling?
In the left rear from...
Tell who that was. Roof flaps are up, though. That kept that car down on the ground.
And there's the pavement we were talking about.
Jack Sprague.
Oh, Jack Sprague in the Net Zero car.
Guilty. And turn 2 is a place where you
He goes
find
guilty.
yourself pushing really hard, especially this time of the race. And
Guilty.
if you're down on the bottom, the car will quit
Guilty.
coming out there when you're close to another car. So
I
Jack
killed
Sprague
him.
off
I'll
there
do it
on
again.
His car, which sent
God,
him up
that
the
fucking
racetrack
video.
into the left rear corner of Dave Blaney's car.
That happened in the NASCAR Busch Series race back in February. It happened a couple of times.
Now Dave trying to lift that car back around with flat tires and not do any further damage.
They're pitting
Meantime,
again?
The pressure's all on the pit crews again. Michael Waltrip worked really hard.
Oh, they're probably going to try to get it full to the end, and then this is probably how it became a fuel mileage race.
Alan Michael Waltrip bringing his car down pit road here. Daytona 4,000 in second gear. That's a pit road speed to him. The car is in. It'll be a 4-tire stop this time. No changes, Matt.
The right side tires for Kevin Harvick on the first stop. A 4-tire change this time. No adjustments as the 29 car is very good, Dave.
4-tire change for Jimmy Johnson as well. He needs an air pressure adjustment in the right front and also in the right rear. Team going to work on the left side now to complete the process. Bill full of fuel. Bill?
Dale Earnhardt Jr. was on pit road. His car was tight. 1 round up on the track bar. 4 tires is fuel. Jeff Gordon also got a chassis adjustment. He said the car is just a little tight. We have to get some better track position. 4 tires, fuel, and a chassis adjustment for Jeff Gordon. Earnhardt Jr. got out ahead of Michael Waltrip, but a couple of people got out ahead of them. We'll reset the running order for you when we come back to Daytona. Watching NASCAR on NBC.
I love the huge man-made lake on the backstretch. It's so good.
Caution of the Pepsi 400 after Dave Blaney got tagged by Jack Sprague.
It's just like 2 miles long. It's so great.
After the pit stops,
It's a lake.
Elliott Sadler got off pit road first. The championship leader, Matt Kenseth, he's way in the back of the pack.
Had a little bit of a problem as Kenseth comes down pit road, trying to make up all the time he could on pit road. The brakes did not. Get it stopped, get it stopped.
Back him up, easy, back him up.
Damn.
Watch this.
It's okay. He won the championship anyway.
And probably the front tires locked up, didn't they, BP?
Yeah,
Or?
looks like it.
Yep.
And right through his pit he went. Kenseth had worked his way up to the top 5. He's now back in 28th position. Marty?
I think I have that diecast.
Overhead camera, I will press the pause button here. Oh, we'll press it again. There you go.
I think it was
Okay, now they're going to do a remote control. There we go.
in my dad's stuff.
And he barely missed his guys just by inches. You can see the orchestration here as Matt comes sliding through the pits. Look at those guys. They just jumped out of the way. That
Just
is,
by
4 inches, I
inches.
guess what you call it. Matt came on the radio, apologized to his guys, said, I'm trying to get everything I can get. I came in there too hot. That was completely my fault, guys.
So Matt Kenseth now back to 27th position. Bill?
And just to update Bobby Labonte's situation, just in front of Matt Kenseth out there on the racetrack for the second time, he again got blocked in on pit road. That cost him time. Also, Mark Armstrong, the tire changer, got his hand caught up in the wheel well when Bobby took
Ow.
it. But he's okay.
Ow. That would fucking hurt.
How about an update on the 40s? Sterling Marlin made a second
Oh my God.
Damage to the left front fender. The team used a hammer and beat it out, sent Sterling out so he wouldn't lose a lap. Came back in, did some more repair work. He should be okay, but remember, this is restrictor plate racing. The bodies, the fabricators, they make these like it's an art form and it's artwork, and their artwork was damaged a little bit, but Sterling should be okay.
Getting set for the restart now. Elliott Sadler is the leader. We're following up. Believe he got 2 tires on his stop. We'll confirm that for you in a minute. Kevin Harvick is second. Jimmy Johnson third. Followed by Earnhardt Jr. and Michael Waltrip.
There you see is the restart line. The white line.
They just waved off the restart, BP. Just throw that in there. Let's take a break. We'll set the restart up when we come back. How about that? Elliott Sadler's now the leader of the Pepsi 400.
I'm not watching a 2003 commercial. Get that shit out of here.
Just back under green in the Pepsi 400. Elliott
What?
Sadler, the leader, did in fact just get
Why not?
2 tires on his stop. The people
Oh, I don't
chasing
know,
gun
'cause
forward.
they cut it out.
Here come Jimmy Johnson and Kevin Harvick.
Oh.
And look at Harvick just driving
Killed him.
outside, trying to drive
Stop.
the outside of Jimmy Johnson. Didn't quite work.
Good stuff.
Where is Biffle?
Anybody with him yet?
Why did they cut the fender off Blaney's car?
Sadler, Johnson, Harvick, top 3, and Earnhardt Jr., Waltrip,
Was it rubbing, so they just got bored and were like, we're just gonna cut it off? Where is Biffle? He still isn't up there yet.
Running order really jumbled up by
And they're
the
halfway through the race.
choices of tire strategy
20th.
on this set of stops. Bill?
Well, on the Discover Card countdown to green, we talked about how popular JL Jr. has become not only to race fans, but to corporate America as well. Well, during that caution, he apparently didn't feel that way, making some moves out on the racetrack with Michael trying to get back to the front. But he said he felt like a one-man band, that he didn't have a friend within 100 miles. He's about to find some in a minute.
I have to pee.
Jimmy Johnson to the lead.
I have to-
Earnhardt Jr. and Harvick race for second. Michael Waltrip right behind, which leads
I don't want to pause this.
Yeah.
I think I'll just leave it going and pee.
I think he's just gonna go piss.
Think if anything crazy happens, you let me know.
Alright, all eyes.
He discusses that he just doesn't care for this kind of racing, the restrictor plate brand, but his record here shows that he has success. Last 3 finishes at Daytona, 6th, 5th, 5th.
And Mark's one of the smoothest guys on any kind of a racetrack. He's also one of those guys that you love to draft with because you know he's not going to ever do anything stupid. So if you just be patient and you put your front bumper on his rear bumper, he usually finds the front.
Junior to the outside of Harvick for second.
And Michael
Oh, that
going
was
to go
close.
with him.
That was close.
Robbie Coors and Mark Martin. And for the lead.
Junior has Johnson cleared, but is he going to stay out there and wait for Michael, or is he going to go down the inside?
I think he's going to be in the middle.
I think he's going to, he's going to take the middle.
He's trying to wait. Harvick's going to get in behind Michael. Jimmy, got bad news for you.
See ya.
Robbie Gordon, Kurt Busch.
Uh-oh.
Watch that yellow line.
That was close. That was real close.
Yikes.
Johnson goes up the racetrack, right almost into Mark Martin. And here's Harvick trying to go on the outside of Michael.
Oh, whoa, who's that shot out of traffic? Down below the line, Steve Park and Jimmy Johnson. they confused his car for Steve Park. They kind of look alike this weekend.
I think that was from back there.
That was on the backstretch. Yeah. Thank you. Still fighting it out for second.
I tell you, that 29 Goodrich car is a very good race car because he almost took over second spot by himself.
Yeah, I agree, BP. And that there again, I think if 31 ever gets with Kevin, those guys will be, and there you go. Robbie is now behind the 29 car. So we'll see if those guys stick together and make it work.
All right, let's go back and look at some of this wildness a moment ago off turn 4.
Robbie went up the racetrack.
Oh, my goodness. Did you see? Oh, my goodness. 3 or 4 cars completely sideways.
Trouble off turn 2. Is this the big wreck?
There it is.
Robbie Gordon, Steve Park.
See Ricky Craven.
Is that Kurt Busch?
Kurt Busch sitting sideways across the track through the smoke. I'll tell you what, could have been a lot more cars involved. And the field comes back to the caution flag. The race slowed for a second time.
No, it was right there around 6th, 7th spot. No, Elliott was in 4th.
Tough break for Steve Park. He really needed a good run tonight.
They have.
Yeah, that was Mike Wallace involved. There's Matt Kenseth, the championship leader. He made it through. Remember all the track position he lost last time put him right in the danger zone for getting caught up in something like that.
Yeah. Dodged the bullet.
Got to be lucky to win one of those championships.
Yes, you do.
I'll tell you. Wow. Damage in front of Robbie's car. Front, back, side. Not everything but the roof.
Well, let's see what we got here. Uh-oh, we got somebody spinning down there.
Steve,
right in front of Robbie. Is that Steve? No.
That's Kurt.
Kurt Busch. And look at that. I mean, these guys can't even see where they're going.
Oh, that's a hard shot.
Guys got caught up in that deal, and a lot of it just, there's nowhere to go.
Look at Terry Labonte come through.
What happened? Did they all die?
Yeah.
What? What happened? I'm back.
So okay. Here's what happened. So Green got out his 45 from his glove compartment, and he shot Martin dead. They had to pull out the caution.
Okay, here we go.
He just lost their boy.
Who was that? Oh, it's Kurt Busch.
Yeah, on 75s they wiped out 20 cars.
There goes Robbie.
Yeah.
To hear from Kurt when he comes back from the medical center because that was unusual.
And Robbie Gordon, no place to go. He's got
31 got pretty
best he
far.
can, but
and he gets hit.
Robbie just clobbers him.
Now we saw
last
night the Busch race, so we had some guys.
Kurt almost made it through with just a tire spin, and then Craven just killed him.
But fortunately, last night they didn't collect 10 or 12 cars.
Wow.
Yeah, everyone fucking died.
All those tires all look up.
Terry's in it. So that's how the complexion of this race changed.
Yeah, Green got out of 45 and shot Martin dead. They had to replace him with a different Martin in the field. While that was happening...
Did they really?
Yeah, so now, this happened.
What happened to Jeff Green?
He got real angry.
Apron like that, you're going to tear your car up.
At 180 something.
Look at that fucking 31 up.
Right, so he figured he'd stay there and hopefully that car would disappear in front of him. What's going on down there, Marty? Can they tell us what happened with the 97 car?
Wally Kurt came on the radio right after the spin finished happening and said the right rear went down on me. I had no control of the race car. The right rear tire is sitting in the back of Kurt Busch's pits. It is completely destroyed beyond recognition, so we'll never be able to know if there was a cut or what happened, but Kurt said it was the right rear just went down on him and he lost control of the car.
Is he still driving? The left looks pretty good. Show the right side where Robbie hit him.
Through this with Kurt Busch.
Well, let's see if we can... When they go that fast, when they spin that fast, normally it is a tire going down. What do you think, BP?
Oh, everyone almost missed him. Yeah, where he got hit, he's not going to be. That suspension's fucked.
See Kurt's back on the track as he's been through pit road once already, but obviously Jimmy Fennig and the crew got some more work to do before they can get him.
Probably get down on that apron and move the fender on top of the tire.
Let's go back and check out that replay one more time. Start a little earlier. See if we can hear.
Oh yeah, look at how much the right side got pushed in. I mean, it's gone now, but that's how unsafe these cars were. Like, there's a cage in the inside of the door that's supposed to stop that.
Supposed to is the key word.
Oh, that's ugly sound.
Thank goodness for replays, huh?
There it is. Well, I guess it hit it right in the weak spot by the A post there.
Joe Nemechek took some damage, as did Jamie McMurray and Mike Wallace.
Wallace, Nemechek, Park, Gordon, Craven, McMurray, Kurt Busch.
Could have been 20 of them in that smoke and heat, just the same. Dale Earnhardt Jr. did not pit. He and Michael Waltrip are the top two in the Pepsi 400. That's why we're under caution. We'll be right back.
Dude, my child is more responsible than some of my other Sims.
Nice.
He fucking washed the dishes.
Well, what a
Instead of leaving another fucking plate on a goddamn table.
I can't believe that was only 7 cars. When a guy wrecks like that from third in the corner, that's usually the field. He goes, "You're the man, you missed it."
Like, literally everyone died.
Tell you what, all that pavement down there you're talking about earlier, Alan, I think there would have been a lot more cars in that wreck if it was grass. Watch all these guys drive way down on all that asphalt. You couldn't have done that if that was grass.
I mean, Jimmy Spencer just drove out of the picture going down on that pavement.
Dave Burns.
Well, Al, the only concern then for Jimmy Johnson, well, actually there were 2 concerns. One is he drove down on the apron, as you saw, dramatically, and he wondered if he ruined the front end of the car. They looked at it with binoculars from up above. They reasoned no, and so they stayed on the track. He also downshifted and thought he might have over-revved it, but they believed that the limiting chip would have caught that and kept the car from over-revving.
Hey, old SpongeBob's been getting some rides the last couple of days.
Yeah.
Oh my god, wait, they have SpongeBob on the car?
They ran 250 miles here at Daytona.
Why?
Dale Earnhardt Jr. led every one of them en route to the victory. Dominating performance. Championship standings are thrilling. 2 points. Scott Riggs to David Green. 84 to 5th place. Busch Series racing at Chicagoland Speedway Saturday.
Yeah, but Vickers
NBC,
wins it.
2:30 Eastern. NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
Dude, my discrimination app gave me $12.
Congratulations to John Wood. Next generation of the famed Wood Brothers team, his first series
Good
win.
job, bro.
The Roush Ford sweeping the top 2 spots. Their championship race just as great.
Travis Quapple takes over 6 points over the previous leader, Brendan Gaughan.
Earlier we gave you our singular race talk poll question. Your votes have been tabulated. Who will overtake Matt Kenseth in the championship
Everyone
race?
thought Junior was gonna
Figured on Dale Jr.
win it.
53%.
No.
How about Dale Jr., Bill?
Well, stayed out there, as you mentioned, Alan, and the reason is they simply are not in their fuel window. They needed 4 more laps to get there. The fuel they have in that tank will get them to about lap 108. We'll see what happens between now and then.
All right, coming to the restart. There's our virtual
I could set the
restart
child
line.
on fire.
Do it!
I could ask to be partners in crime.
Nice. Oh, this was that one weird year where they had single file restarts.
By NASCAR.
Wait, who got black flagged?
Let's update you on a couple things. Several of the front runners did not pit under this caution. You heard Bill reporting on Dale Jr., Michael Waltrip, Elliott Sadler, Kevin Harvick, Mark Martin did not pit under the caution flag. Several did, including Jeff Burton. He's in 9th place. He heads the guys who stopped. That's where they'll take this restart. A number of cars came in and topped off the fuel on the one-to-go signal.
6 pistols and a dagger.
Ricky Rudd.
Welcome to the Black Flag with Skeleton Swagger.
Kyle Petty. Kurt Busch has been in several times, as you can expect, for repairs. So that's the pit strategy situation.
Matt, what's going on with the 29 car?
Benny, a lot of debate under that caution for Kevin Harvick. They were doing the math. They needed one more lap under the caution, and they would have been able to make it on one more stop. Kevin wanted to chance it. Todd Barrier said, Kevin, a lap is still a lap. We'll never make that up. Bill?
Yeah, so that's how it turned into a fuel mileage race. Now I know.
Left front damage, so he came down pit road, got 4 tires and fuel. Robbie Loomis, his crew chief, said the car is fine. That's showing that they might have some Daytona luck going for the 24 tonight.
Draft going with Rusty Wallace there.
Yeah, he had Rusty had a pretty good run going. I think Jeff saw that.
Rusty's like, fuck it, I'm not gonna help my teammate. Who's up top there, 3 wide?
Great push, and I can't believe Kenseth just drove up on the
Kenseth.
outside of Dale Jarrett up in turn 3. That's the black car on the
Well, Kenseth is the man.
UPS car. Now he's got some help from the 12 of Ryan Newman. Hard to believe Ryan Newman's still running. We're at halfway. He's had terrible luck with the super speedways this year here in Talladega.
Yeah, remember he got upside down here during the Daytona 500 at Talladega. He was involved in that nasty wreck early.
Michael Waltrip told me in the garage area early today that he felt like fuel mileage might decide the winner. And guess what? If this thing goes green flag the rest of the way, it will decide the winner. And it will be none of these guys you're seeing on the camera right now.
Those guys that came in right there and topped off.
That's right.
Speaking of Michael Waltrip, we intercepted this from his radio transmission a minute ago.
Come down to it, Mike. You care who's behind you? Yeah, I care a little bit about everything. Only thing is, in order to pass somebody, if you lay
I'll be right back again. I forgot to get my meds.
So the only person that's ever pushed me around anybody is Jigger, because he's my teammate. And I pushed him to the lead, so if I get ahead of him, I don't think they can beat me, and we'll just have to see what happens.
Well, I think with Kevin Harvick back here, he's not going to sit and ride and wait.
No.
You know, if he wants to get to the front, he knows he's got to get to the front. So I think the first opportunity he sees, he's going to try to make a move, and hopefully he'll have, well, there he goes. There you go.
Harvick to the top. Who's going with him?
He's got to have some help. I'm surprised that Elliott or some of these guys aren't going with that 29 car.
Elliott Sadler, Jimmy Johnson, all choosing to stay tucked up behind Michael Waltrip.
Everyone is choosing the DEI car to hang with.
I don't understand that. Marty, you got Robbie.
I have found Robbie Gordon. What was your perspective on what happened, Robbie?
Kind of restrictor plate racing, you know. Kurt lost it in front of me. I had it saved. You know, not that I ever got loose right now. I just kind of was slowing down with him, and someone creamed me from the back. So.
Oh, they're talking to
Robbie. You know, you can.
Mr. Robbie
be a
Gordon.
Circumstance at times. We were just riding around. Gonna lose a lot of points. It's gonna be a disappointing week for us.
Did you see a tire go down on Kurt's car?
No, I didn't see a tire go down. I just saw him get on the apron. There was nothing shredding at that point, but is that what happened?
That's what he said, yes.
That or he drove on the apron, one of the two.
All right, see you in Chicago.
Bye.
Robbie Gordon out.
Love Robbie Gordon.
Boy, they just hung out Kevin Harvick.
Well, they did.
How about a little 3 wide for you?
That's good. And there's Jeff Burton in the 99 car. He stopped. I think he can make it the rest of the way.
On to one more pit stop.
Yep. One more stop. Well, the leaders are going to have to stop twice.
Burton has lost some ground since the last restart, BP. About 6 positions. Let's see, Harvick shuffled back to 5th. You know, the storyline of this race as it's unfolding in my head so far, the fact that Harvick, Earnhardt Jr., and Michael Waltrip appear to have the 3 fastest cars. Yes. Harvick has been hard to pass when he's been out in front, and
they failed him when it comes time to win the race. Tonight, they're doing the job. Martin losing spot to Jeff Gordon, I believe.
And Michael's in the same spot he was last night in the Busch race, and like he said after the Busch race, man, it is a lot of work running second place, and that's what he's going through right now.
Ken Schrader off the pace.
Uh-oh.
Believe he might have cut down a right front tire when he came through the tri oval, or something went wrong under the right front corner of his car because he started showing a lot of smoke, got up out of the way, and started slowing down.
Probably lost a motor knowing that damn racing car.
Or he's got a problem.
What an ugly car.
Yeah, it was pretty ugly. Pretty bad team, too. Great driver, though. Great guy. Nice guy.
86 laps that have been run so far.
Real journeyman in the sport.
Right now it's Dale Earnhardt Jr. leading NASCAR's Independence Weekend celebration. The All-American boy. His red, white, and black car out in front.
What stupid sunglasses.
Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s hold on the lead being challenged in the Pepsi 400. Jimmy Johnson trying to ride the high line around Daytona.
I thought Johnson had him off turn 2, but Junior somehow fought back down the back direction, retook the lead.
Not over yet. Kevin Harvick trying to...
Dude, I'm literally gonna, when this race is over, I'm gonna close out and look at my desktop, and it's gonna look like the nicest thing I've ever seen, just because it's not 480p.
That's Kenny Wallace fighting for third spot.
Cool.
How about that draft with Harvick and Johnson, Dave?
Well, that might be a great idea. Earlier, I picked up a radio transmission from Jimmy Johnson that said, hey, the 29 just left me out to dry. I helped him earlier. And just a few moments ago, they were talking about hooking up to Jimmy Johnson with the 29 car. And they said to him, Jimmy, you just got to believe he'll go with you. Matt?
Dave, the reason he hung him out back at the Daytona 500 and then again at Talladega, Kevin Harvick tried doing a deal with Jimmy Johnson. Johnson said he'd go with him, and then he hung him out. So it was payback time. Now Kevin Harvick is trying to get somebody, himself or Johnson, in between the 8 and 15. They feel like that's
Binging with Babish is a terrible father. Geralt has decided he wants to become a father.
Jimmy Spencer having a good run in that Sirius car. I always liked the way that car looked. He had some great runs in 2003, even though he was in a pretty bad car. Almost won Bristol, almost won Richmond. I mean, I think the closest Tommy Baldwin Racing ever came to winning a race, with the exception of the 2012 Daytona 500 red flag where Dave Blaney was out front. And he was hoping they'd call it. I think the closest they ever came to winning a race was with Jimmy Spencer in 2003. Plus, it was just a nice-looking car.
What I find fascinating about you drivers is you can just about remember every lap of every race you've ever run and what happened in it.
Sure can remember when somebody hangs you out to dry, especially after you've helped them. That's a real slap in the face.
The intense racing up front has settled down for a bit. See the front 5, now 6. Dale Earnhardt Jr. leads the 45th running of the Pepsi 400. You're watching NASCAR on NBC.
July weekend here in Daytona Beach, Florida. Daytona International Speedway is lit up for the holiday, lit up for the race fans across America, and lit up for these drivers.
They have a short track on the inside of the track, and they have a short track on the outside of the track. That's a little excessive. And they have an airport. Like, really?
Just 2 points behind Jeff Gordon.
Yes.
On the racetrack, he continues to lead. His car is just a little tight. He can go to just past lap 100. That's the leader. Let's see how far we can take it through the field before something happens. We'll go past the 8 to the 15 and Marty. To his teammate, Michael Waltrip is riding in second right now, and that's exactly what he's doing. He said, I'm just riding right now. The big strategy here, when will they pit? They could go to lap 104, maybe to 106, Dave.
The radio traffic for Jimmy Johnson, a little less contentious this time. They tell him, Jimmy, let's just ride. He says, I'm thinking the same. Bill?
Jeff Gordon came in under that last caution to get 4 tires and check possible damage. No damage, and the 4 tires are really starting to pay off. That's what he told Robbie Loomis. Matt.
Bill, Kevin Harvick just jumped in front of Jeff Gordon, now up to 4th. Really no conversation about the way the car is handling, except the fact that they're looking around lap 104 to 105 to make their stop, Marty.
How about this run for Kenny Wallace, Matt? He's up to the 5th position, running very
My child is going to walk into his first day of grade school with at least 6 fucking logic.
Nice. You should get the, if you don't, you should have the, you should get the pre-K mod.
Why?
It's a very nice way to get your toddler skills up.
I already have a child.
So just have another one.
Why would I want another child?
So you can abuse it.
I'd rather adopt people off the street. So I suppose I don't have to care for the child, realistically.
Oh, I wanted to hear him talk about Jimmy Spencer. Yeah, it stops you from having to teach the toddler shit. If he just goes to school and you do the listen to the teacher thing, it just learns. Hold on, I wanted to hear what they had to say about Jimmy Spencer.
Maybe after this child is
few changes on that car tonight. Little arrow push, little tight. He just missed that big that wreck off of turn 2. They came in, put on 4 tires, no changes. Bill.
Nice.
Former Daytona 500 winner Ward Burton has virtually come from nowhere. Remember, he ran out of gas earlier in this race in turn 3. They had to push start the car.
I can't even tell if that's a 5 or a 6 in the total number of laps. That's how poor the quality is. I can't tell if it's 160 or 150. I think it's 50. It would make sense that it's 50. If it's a 400-mile race and it's a 2-mile track, 2.5 mile, it would, I believe it would be 150.
Three-time Daytona winner Sterling Marlin on 3 separate occasions. They have worked on that left front fender. It is good, but the car is still tight because of it. They're going to work a little more on their next stop, Alan.
And we're about to hit the 250-mile mark in the Pepsi 400. Dale Earnhardt Jr. leads. So far, 2 caution flags have slowed tonight. Green flag pit stops coming up for the front runners and on the lead.
Oh, they got Murray back out of the track.
Of the 43 starters. Let's keep going through the field. Dave?
Alan, tonight for Ryan Newman, one big gripe. Needs more grip. Now for Jeff Burton, they pitted just a little while ago, and Jeff said if they pitted under that caution for the wreck. If they get to lap 118, I checked with their team, they're going to go for it and see if they can make it to the end.
The kid now has 7.
Nice.
Will they get 8 before class?
Mark Martin, his teammate as well, running behind him. We talked earlier about the fact that this isn't one of Mark's favorite things to do, running restrictor plates. Well, he's been doing a pretty darn good job tonight. He stayed out.
They've been doing nothing but playing chess with Gerald for like 10 hours straight. Looks like they're going to be 7 on their first day. 8, I mean, shit.
Nice solid run for Bobby Labonte. Good to see him running toward the front of the field. A lot of times he runs in the back of the pack at these restrictor plate races for the first half or 3 quarters and tries to move himself forward. His renewed confidence, the way the team's running, and Michael McSwain, his crew chief, have him running up front. Upstairs.
Hey, what? That 18th slicing and dicing right now. Man, he just blew right by Mark Martin.
And let's check out the first pack. There's shuffling going on. Earnhardt Jr. hanging on to the top spot.
Dude, there's a paparazzi.
Well, here they come to pit road.
Fuck it.
Coming in.
And Junior's
Could.
Oh, pit stops.
Michael Waltrip, Ryan Newman, Tony Stewart, Elliott Sadler, all pitting. Marty.
I just asked Slugger Labby, why are you coming in 2 laps early? He said our strategy is not working out. Our fuel mileage advantage is
Sold off Rhea.
Junior couldn't believe he had to come in right now, but that was the opening of the window. They got to lap 104. Dave.
SpongeBob is in with Jimmy Johnson, 4 tires.
I still can't believe they have SpongeBob on the hood of that car.
A little slow on the left rear, and now he's out of here.
Oh, man. He may lose the captain partner on that deal, although he's got Ryan right there.
Ryan and Jimmy got 4 tires. The other guys, the other 4 in front of them got 2. Kevin Harvick took over the lead when Earnhardt Jr. stopped. Now Harvick is on pit road, and he's by himself. Well, he's got 1 coming in behind him. It's Jeff Green.
But I don't think they're close enough to pick up a draft off each other when they leave the pits.
I mean, it's his teammate, corporate teammate. God, even back then they had the smiley face pit sign. Even back then they had that nickname for him. They called him Happy Harvick because he was so angry all the time. And he was picking fights with people. So his pit sign now is a smiley face. And even back then, I guess it was too. He's mellowed out a lot, though, in the recent years. I used to hate him. But it's hard, really, not to like him now. He's just a chill guy. He's also 45, so I think that helps. And he still wins a lot, too. He won 9 races last year.
Heading for pit road. Kenny Wallace will come in. Ward Burton takes over the lead as we follow Gordon to the attention of his crew.
I heard you're quite the brainiac, girl. You make a great tech guru. With your reputation and skills, you can become an esports gamer or an entrepreneur in no time. I hope you get to jump the rings. No, Geralt doesn't want to do that.
Gamer!
Geralt has other important things.
Oh my god, what? I think I just broke...
Fuck that car?
No, I think I just broke my neck.
What?
I was trying to crack my neck with my earbuds in, and my earbud, like, popped. And it was just a weird sensation.
You'd
Anyway.
be dead.
I'd be dead, yeah. That is true.
Because when they get going, they got to spin the tires, and it helps them leave the pits because these first gears are so tall in these cars.
Oh yeah, you can be famous for other things. It's just a fan system. I mistakenly said you could only be famous by being an actor. No, you can be famous for whatever gives you fame.
Got Mongo on his tail. He may just get those points, BP.
Because I have my second sim that I moved into this house, Ken's. She is a painter.
Nice. Jimmy Spencer, the Ted Nugent of NASCAR.
Yep.
It's so
One day.
true.
He's got the 5 bonus points.
Oh, there's Biffle up to 12. So he must have not pitted. He must think he can make it on fuel.
Championship works. If you lead a lap in the race, you collect 5 bonus points towards the championship. If you lead the most laps in the race, you collect another 5 bonus points. Marty?
And remember, Alan, they pitted a little bit later than most of the other teams did. They pitted on lap 75. They can actually go as far as lap 117. The problem is he's worked great tonight with Ward Burton. They've come up through the field together. Ward can only go to 116 to look for those 2 cars to come to pit road about the same time.
We're talking about Ward and Jeff or Ward and Matt?
That's right.
44, so it is 150.
I don't know if they can run that many laps.
Beginning to close up on some of the cars who just made pit stops and are trying to come back up to speed. Jimmy Johnson, Ryan Newman, and Jeff Gordon. So Gordon right now on the tail end of the lead lap. Matt Kenseth right behind him. You know, Matt Kenseth really has a remarkable record so far this season. Through the 16 races that have been run, he has finished all but 1 possible lap.
And you know what, Benny? Matt's looking at Jeff Gordon right now in some of those cars in front of him. He would love to get by them. In case the yellow does come out, puts him a lap down.
Now, as you watch the ticker across the top of the screen with the running order, the cars whose drivers' names are being shown in yellow, they have made pit stops.
Okay, so that's what that means. That's what I thought.
Being shown in white have not yet stopped. So that's a way for you to keep track of who is running where as we go through the set of green flag stops. Matt Kenseth, Ward Burton, top 2 right now, Bill.
Boy, I'm just really impressed with the run for Ward. Crew Chief Frank Stoddard said his guy will be on pit road on lap 1.
Ward had a really good habit of finishing way better than he should have in Bill Davis equipment. And he won 5 races with him.
Marty. Bill, like BP said, if they pit on 116, that'll be 44 laps to go. I just asked Robbie Reiser, can you go all the way from that point? He said no.
Robbie Reiser.
Yesterday we ran
Robbie pissed.
Good guy.
Guy.
He was Matt's Busch Series team owner, and then when he moved up to Roush in the Cup Series, Robbie was the crew chief.
What happened here a year ago? Remember, this race finished under caution. That's happened here before. You may not need enough fuel to run 160 laps at full speed. Keep that in mind.
Remember that Ward Burton and Matt Kenseth both pitted at lap 75. That's 11 laps later than the cars who've already been in. Michael Waltrip and Dale Earnhardt Jr. and so forth. So that's the pad that's allowing them to stay out on the track. And also for Ward, 4 fresh tires he took on then helped him get up through the group. Matt Kenseth leads the Pepsi 400 at Daytona.
My baby.
You're watching NASCAR on NBC.
Commercial. Oh, no. I skipped it.
What a great sight. Daytona International Speedway at night.
Yeah, I can summon the dead.
Pepsi 400 charging on under the green flag before better
Thank
than
you, Carol.
160,000 NASCAR fans. It is Matt Kenseth leading. Now Bobby Labonte has moved up to second behind him. Jeff Burton running third. Shuffling up the running order just a bit here as we close in on a set of pit stops for these drivers. You've got Ward Burton back to fourth, Terry Labonte fifth, and Greg Biffle, Buckshot Jones, Ricky Rudd, Jimmy Spencer, and Kyle Petty. And now Jimmy Spencer is on pit road as Labonte chases Kenseth. Dave Burns, let's cover Jimmy Spencer's stop.
2 tires and no changes, Alan, for him. The admonition coming down pit road, pump your brakes, make sure they work. They did. They also said when the jack drops, you go. They're trying to get a little bit more fuel in there, though, see how far they can go, and he's gone.
46 to go is probably asking a little too much.
Can't do it.
Just to make sure Cleto on the lead unless he has to, okay?
Yeah, because at the beginning of the race, they said it was like 30-something laps, so...
Sounds like Matt's coming in. Trying to get the 99, it sounded like, to lead a lap. He's got to get by Bobby first.
Bobby's one of his rivals for the championship. Bobby is fourth in the standings coming in. Whereas Jeff Burton is 16th. Might not be worth giving Jeff by...
That guy's gonna fucking eat that other guy.
All right, here are the guys who stopped already, the previous leaders. Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Kevin
He was
Harvick
coming at him like he was tasty.
got back together.
He was like, what was this fucking first place? No. I actually installed fucking steel jaws on the front of my car to chomp down and rip their bumper off.
Haley Deegan does that. She always paints like teeth and shit on her car because she's trying to break the stereotype that like girls in NASCAR drive really boring cars and like have a really passive driving style, and she's the exact opposite, and she paints like fucking shark teeth on her car and shit.
It's going to be 2 tires and no change for Matt Kenseth. They're very happy with the car, Bill.
10 seconds for a 2-tire stop. Wow.
Waiting on fuel. The 17 goes. The 22 follows them. The plan was to pit together.
What do you think, BP? Do you go? You're in the lead for the championship.
No, you can't gamble. You cannot gamble running out of fuel. Too many cars will end up getting by you. But Jeff Burton now is the guy that might gamble and try to make it.
We got 28 cars on the
Greg hasn't pit yet, and it's 44 to go, so he's trying to stretch it, and I think that's how he ended up winning the race.
You're going to lose a lot.
But if you got to stop, how many are you going to lose anyway?
He's in 4th now. He's cycling to the front.
Junior and Michael Waltrip.
So what either happens is he's able to string the fuel in like another 8 or 10 laps.
He looks good. I'm going to ease the jack down on the right side. I'm going to ease the jack down on the
This was about a lap and a half, maybe a lap earlier than they wanted to come. They wanted to make sure they didn't stall the car, run out of fuel, and have to refire it. But they said they're going to go for it, so we'll see.
That's really interesting. I've never seen them do that before. Rev the motor to get more fuel in the tank.
Bobby Labonte is now the leader after Jeff Burton.
This is
I
just...
mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, I've just never seen them do it.
Yeah, they got to go for it.
This is just a strange race with fuel. Like, not just that it was a fuel mileage race, but the fact that they used smaller fuel cells in this race for some reason. I don't know why. It was just a weird race. I've never seen it all the way through. I've only seen the finish of it.
Let me go check my notes.
Alan's doing math.
No, I'm not doing math. I just want to check when he stopped.
Check it out, 75.
That's where I'm looking. I don't see the number. For the 18 here. No, you know what? He stopped on the 1 to go at the end of that caution and dropped off at 77.
Lap 77, you're right.
My handwriting's not the best.
He can do it. He can do it. Here he comes.
Bobby Labonte pitting. 41 laps to go when he crosses the start-finish line.
And he just ran 41 laps, so he can make it the rest of the way.
Here he comes, Bill.
You bet they can make it. And they've got great coaching going on from the top of that pit box with Michael McSwain. Bobby Labonte on pit road looking for a win here at Daytona. Around to the right side. They put on the 2 right side tires. And
That's going to be it. They're going to pack it full of fuel. They get the nod from the gas man, and Bobby Labonte is on his way.
Who's behind him? Terry. Yep.
Another car is another car that can probably make it the rest of the
Yep.
Terry Crews. Terry Crews.
There's Biffle. Literally the first time you've seen or heard about Biffle all race.
What a stupid looking car.
That one? That's Ricky Rudd in the Motorcraft car. I always liked that paint scheme.
I like the paint scheme. I hate the car.
Hey man, don't shit on the Ford Taurus.
My mom drove one that smelled like rotten strawberries. I'll shit on it if I feel like.
My mom drove one that smelled
And
like
it had seagulls.
vomit and chocolate milk, and that was because of me.
I think the strawberries were because of me too.
Nice.
And hers had screaming seagulls in the trunk. That's why she doesn't have that Taurus anymore.
She crashed into a gas pump to kill the seagulls.
Bringing you the 45th Pepsi 400 from Daytona. We're inside the final 100 miles. We've got fuel mileage into the equation, and we've got some great pit work that has a different driver leading than we thought.
Bobby Labonte and those guys
There's the Biff.
Terry Labonte, Greg Biffle, but Junior has passed these guys. He's up to second. Biffle's third. Terry Labonte is fourth.
But Bobby and Terry Labonte can go the distance on fuel. Junior cannot.
Gotta stop. He's going to run out of fuel if this thing stays green. They need a caution flag.
Check the Napa Field summary for you. Just past 300 miles. 10 different drivers have led today. Kevin Harvick has led the most. Dale Earnhardt Jr. the second most. The rest of them basically have been a shuffle during green flag pit stops. Cars out of the race. Ken Schrader, the only one officially retired from the event. It was an engine failure.
Oh, that's too bad.
And the caution flags.
Dude, I still think Hendrick gave Kurt a bunk motor at Kansas last year so Chase would win the championship. Because you never see motor problems anymore. And Chip Ganassi gets their motors from Hendrick. But that's just my conspiracy theory.
Except for Mike Wallace and Robbie Gordon, theirs are still in the garage. Bobby Labonte leads.
That's
Dale
just
Earnhardt
Aaron
Jr. second. Greg Biffle third. Kevin Harvick now just got shot.
Yo, you should download me off the gallery and get me pregnant. You know, I've never thought I would say that in my life. Never thought I would just use that sentence.
Aaron, you want me to come inside your boy?
Oh, it is 160 laps. Dear God. How many to go? 35? We're almost there. We're almost to the end.
I know he'd break out if he had something to go with him.
Terry Labonte is the guy that's getting shuffled right now. Yeah. Sterling Marlin, who is inside, pushing Terry another spot back. Fuel strategy is going to play into deciding who wins this one if we don't see the caution flag. And of course, it's Daytona. The tension grows in the closing laps. The big wreck still a possibility. 34 to go. And here comes Junior challenging Bobby Labonte for the race lead.
And he has all kinds of help. See him go up against Labonte and try to get him a surge to get by.
Yeah, but Billy and I were talking about that earlier. If you drive right up against a guy's door as you're going to pass him, you get that surge. And we think that's air being forced into your cowl that helps you with some more horsepower just for that second.
Cowl being the opening up by the windshield on these cars where the air intake is. So Earnhardt Jr. is back out in front. 33 to go. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. 30 laps to go in the Pepsi 400. Changes in the running order. Michael Waltrip to third. Kevin Harvick to fourth, behind Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Greg Biffle. Bobby Labonte getting shuffled back. Check our Walmart race fact.
On the second day of school, my kid has maxed out their mental.
Bobby Allison, 1982. I was defeated both times that year.
Of course, Michael Waltrip 3 straight here, but he won this July race 1 year ago, and then the 500 in February. Here's Michael being worked on by Kevin Harvick for 3rd spot. Harvick is short one thing.
Help. No drafting aid for the 29 car.
Matt Kenseth in the middle.
Yeah, because they know he's fast.
Black car. What an impressive run for that team tonight. Mark Martin running back in 17th position at the moment. The Roush teammates all started pretty far back. They've all worked their way pretty far up front. Marty?
Done a pretty good job so far tonight, Alan. Of course, Daytona Beach is Mark Martin's hometown, and just down the road in New Smyrna Beach, he built a racetrack for little ones to race on.
What?
His son, Matt,
His
races
hometown?
Bandoleros, Legends
He's
cars,
from
and
Arkansas.
quarter midgets at the track that Mark spent the money to build himself. Matt is just 12 years old, and already Ford has signed him to a contract. Talk about your NASCAR youth movement. If you haven't looked at Ford lately, look again.
Mark Martin, 17th position at this moment in the Pepsi 400. Bill.
With Tony Eury Jr., you're leading, but I don't think you're winning.
No, we're definitely not winning. We're in a bad situation right now, and we're going to try to make the best of it. The 18th kind of was in. Luckily, he was back there towards the back of that wreck, and we got like 4 of them that can make it. We're not going to be able to make it, so I'm going to stop here and put 2 tires on it, and hopefully these guys have to stop when the caution comes out. But caution's the only thing that we got going for us. Right now we're just kind of a sitting duck, but we're going to have to make the best of it, see what happens.
Tony, looking back, you probably should have come under that caution period.
Well, we couldn't make it. That's the whole reason we didn't fit. We lacked like 4 laps for making it all the way, and so it would do us no benefit to do it. So, we just stuck between a rock and a hard place, and this is what we got dealt.
And I need a little luck.
Yeah, need a little luck. We've had a lot of it this year. Can't complain. Daytona's been great to us, and we'll just take what we can get out of here.
Okay, they couldn't stop under the caution because it wouldn't have put them in their window anyway, so they stayed out, and now that strategy might be coming back to bite them, but they were in a lose-lose situation.
I was talking to Danny Earnhardt, Dale Jr.'s uncle, earlier in the week, and
When
he
you're
said,
staring at a demigod.
and Dale Earnhardt Jr. this year,
Shut up!
been spot on. Those guys have
What's
really
wrong?
worked
Ryan, when he gets me like copyright infringe for fucking singing Moana, that's gonna be my 3rd fucking strike, and I'm gonna get my account terminated.
You're gonna say something.
I'm not, dude. I'm not gonna say the N-word. I almost said it earlier, but I'm not gonna.
I'll give it a couple days.
Fuck.
I'll just go through your backlog and find some.
No, I've already been through it. I've deleted like everything.
Expecting Earnhardt Jr. in somewhere around lap 140. A little bit, about 6 laps to go before then, so let's take a break. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. NASCAR's All-American Stock Car Racing Celebration underway at Daytona International
You see the
Speedway.
cameras flashing, people taking pictures. That's something you don't see anymore.
Pepsi 400 being led by Dale Earnhardt Jr. And we're about to hit the 350-mile mark of the race. So the challenge for 3rd spot here. On the move on the outside comes Jimmy Johnson. And Greg Biffle with a big wiggle off turn 2.
Wow, let's do it.
Oh my God, Jimmy, chill on him.
Trying to block these guys, but guess what? Couldn't do it. They just go by them on both sides.
Well, Greg can get hooked up behind Mikey now.
It'd be better for Biffle to get out of this track, because when they start peeling off, he doesn't want to be in the middle of it.
That is true.
Oh, here they come.
There they go.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. coming to pit road with 21 laps to go. Walter passing Jr. as they come to the speeding line for pit road speed.
But Walter is going to pit first, so he has to slow down for his pit stall, and Earnhardt Jr. continues on.
Who came with him, Newman?
Several cars.
Yeah.
Michael Waltrip very happy with the car, very upset about the fuel strategy. However, they're going to do the best they can. There'll be no changes again. 2 tires stalls it a little bit, Bill.
Jeff Green in with him, teammate.
Chassis adjustment and fuel for Dale Earnhardt Jr. He may not be racing for the win now, but if you're an Earnhardt fan, he could be racing for the championship.
And Dale Jr. beat him out again.
Yes, he did.
His 3rd time tonight. So how do they play out against the guys who have not stopped?
Well, Biffle's going to be out there the lone dog, I think. When all these guys start peeling off, he is in a good position. He's second on the racetrack.
Yeah,
They're going to be in the draft, and they may catch and pass him.
Oh, I didn't know Kevin and Jimmy had to pit again.
And Kevin Harvick coming in, they're going to make a two-tire change. Harvick says the car had gone to the loose
So
side.
Biff and Bobby
They're
can
gonna
go
back
all the
up
way,
on
all the way.
adjustments they made in the last stop. As soon as the tires are on, they're going to drop the jack, and he's gone, Bill.
And Jeff Gordon heading down pit road after making his stop. Two right side tires and fuel.
Jimmy Johnson was in and off pit road, two tires to the right side, a chassis adjustment just a little tight. He might win. He's got a fast car in his fourth start here at Daytona.
That's weird that they merge before turns 1 and 2. That you don't have to stay below the commitment line until the backstretch.
Matt Kenseth runs second. We believe Biffle has the fuel to go to the distance. What about Kenseth?
Now
the
Biffle's up front.
And Robbie Reiser's on the radio with Matt Kenseth just now. Matt asks, are you sure we cannot go all the way? I want to beat those guys. Robbie, will leading the points cost you a chance to win this race?
Well, I think so, because we could have maybe gambled a lap or two here, and we could have made it to the end, but with the point battle,
There's Robbie.
We just couldn't take that chance. If I run him out of gas, we'd lose a lot more, so this was the way we had to go. It's a safe route.
When will you have to pit?
And it worked because he won the championship.
Wow, 3 to go. They'll top off. He'll come down pit road. Now remember, Robbie Reiser told me earlier this morning he feels like restrictor plate racing is by far the weakest part of their program. A top 10 tonight is as good as a win.
What a break for Greg Biffle that his teammate can stay up there till 3 laps to go.
And block for him.
These guys now are going to start thinking about this point championship. It's halfway through the season, and instead of gambling for the win, they're thinking points.
The question is, will he get a top 10 finish out of it even after he stops with a splash of fuel late in the race? Last commercial under green flag conditions before we see the checkers. Back to Daytona in a minute.
Mayfield and Elliott up rounding out the top 5. Evernham.
Down to the final 15 laps in the Pepsi 400.
Wonder if Mongo can make it.
National Speedway. A little drama being played out here in the final laps with fuel mileage coming into play, perhaps deciding who might steal the Daytona.
Tell you, even knowing who wins, it doesn't make it any less interesting. I mean, that's an exaggeration. Of course, it makes it a little less interesting, but it's still so fun to watch.
Just made a
You're fun.
pit stop to take on the fuel that they need to go to the finish, and they're a long ways behind. Gordon running in 20th place, and he is a good distance behind the race leader. You see Gordon's car carrying a little bit of a different paint scheme tonight, part of a Pepsi consumer promotion where 4 people from Ohio, Alabama, Florida, and Oregon
Mayfield bump drafting him?
brand new Chevy Monte Carlo tonight, if Jeff Gordon wins the race.
It's pretty good incentive for them to root for Jeff Gordon.
It's Todd O'Brien trying to work with Jeff and see if they can find a way around some of these cars in front of him.
I don't think they should be looking for the keys just yet on that one.
I don't think so, huh?
I'll tell you what, those guys are pushing and shoving it.
Yeah, did you see Earnhardt push Jimmy Johnson?
Gordon turned 3, little bump draft.
Harvick and Johnson did pass Earnhardt Jr. and Waltrip a moment or two ago during the commercial break. Again, these guys, if they get a caution, they're going to be...
Those Evernham guys are pretty hooked up too. Wonder if they can make it. Because I don't know the finishing order besides the fact that Greg won.
Ricky Rudd and Terry Labonte, those are the guys that stopped late enough that we know they're good to the finish on gasoline.
And they're kind of scattered out, aren't they?
Yeah.
You've got Biffle.
Biffle's first. Labonte's 6th. Rudd is 11th, and Terry is 12th.
But there's space in between them.
I think Ricky finished in the top 10.
We just told the story about Matt Kenseth and his potential fuel stop with 3 to go. Marty,
Ricky's Brewer pull up with a motherfucking cat.
Matt Kenseth is championship racing. He's asked Robbie Reiser twice now to go refigure the fuel mileage. He wants to win this race. So Robbie's climbed down the ladder twice, gone to Dave Toronto, the guy who figures the fuel mileage for the 17 bunch.
Back when they had to do the math by hand. Now they have...
Robbie, he said, Matt, we're going to have to pit.
When,
made all the more difficult because this is Daytona.
Yep, that's exactly right.
And he's sitting there looking at it going, man, I can taste it.
Now they have technology and computers and shit that keep track of that mileage.
Did he get by Biffle?
But, you know, Matt won at super speedways. He won 2 Daytona 500s and a Talladega race, and he might have won the summer race a couple times. He hated super speedway racing, though.
15th. So this is 15th, 16th, 17th, and 18th.
But you're right, if the caution flag should come out, it might be the race for the lead and the win.
Dale Jarrett's just been on and off pit road for his final stop. Sterling Marlin is in now. So thin that lead pack by a couple more. As Michael Waltrip tries to fend off Jimmy Johnson.
Comes Pablo Nine in to join this race.
All right, let's go back up.
Oh my God, my asshole.
We believe good to go to the finish on fuel.
Well, he's got to run 41 laps, and I believe that he ran 41 laps the last time. Randy Goss has got to be beside himself, the crew chief for Greg Biffle. Jimmy Spencer peels off. He's coming to pit road.
Oh no, Spence can't make it.
Now, here's what we talked about. We got 4 cars in the draft, and Bobby Labonte by himself.
Yeah, can Biffle pull away from Labonte? Can these guys help him do that?
Right.
Sadler's going a lap down.
That draft, those 4 cars are running a lot quicker than Bobby by himself right now.
This could be big, Wally. Could be real big.
Elliott Sadler there in the 38 just in front of Biffle. He's already made that splash and dash pit stop at 1:39.
And that's going to help him even more. That's what Biffle wants. That's
perfect. That's exactly what he needed. Somebody that could go the rest of the way, get in front of him and tow him along.
And same for Tony Stewart. He stopped on the same lap that Elliott Sadler did. Ward Burton, Bill, what do you got on him?
Just want to try and make it a little bit more confusing. I talked to his crew chief, Frank Stoddard. He said based on their first calculations, the 22 car could not go to the finish on their last stop. He said based on their last run, they'll be about a half a lap short. So he's not sure what
It's
he's
close.
Do, but if he's half a lap short, he'll be running out on the track, I believe.
I believe you're right, Bill.
You know, the last lap, Bobby Labonte ran as fast as Greg Biffle.
Wow. That car's hooked up then.
Keep that up. He's pedaling as hard as he can to keep up with his group. As we watch Jeff Burton, Ward Burton.
Spence pitted and still came out 9th.
And we look ahead to the race leaders.
Labonte is, I mean, he's almost able to get something off these cars to keep up. Check it this time by. He, once again, ran the same speed as Biffle. Oh, that's surprising.
Wow. Car's like cheating fast
He
then.
may be close enough to be catching the draft off him.
Here goes Biffle by the 38 car.
He knows he's got to go.
Got 3 Fords there, but there's a little branding work there with Elliott Sadler running in behind Biffle now. Greg Biffle's name is new to you. He's from Vancouver, Washington, just across the river from Portland, Oregon. Started out local racing in the northwestern part of the country.
Vancouver, Washington.
Developed a business building race car chassis and parts. Got discovered by old BP.
I saw him at Tucson at winter.
He started short track racing in Washington.
Down there, never seen the racetrack, sat on the pole, led all 150 laps, and as you said, 25 years old and built race cars for a living. I said, what a
Probably east of the Cascades.
And Labonte is back there. He's caught up with this crowd.
Oh wow, Labonte's there. Wow.
Man, my hat is off to Bobby Labonte.
Wow.
He pedaled hard.
He drove the wheels off that shit.
So you got the rookie, Greg Biffle.
I did not even think it was like mathematically possible for his car to run faster than those 4 guys in the draft, but
Has never won at Daytona. He's finished second here twice. Has Labonte. He's not taken the trophy.
Matt Kenseth, the 17 car, he's still in there in second spot, but
he's probably going to be able to block Bobby.
Tony Stewart on the inside of
Ryan Newman. Now you got the
You want
last car.
fucking insane to me?
What?
The number 1 in the gold place finish in freestyle skateboarding was in the Olympics was won by a 13-year-old.
That's fucking wild. God, it's like iRacing. Now the lap cars are racing in front of you. That's a mess. Bobby's coming up the outside. Oh, God. Now Matt's not going to be able to block for him. It might be a more interesting finish than I thought it'd be. Wow.
Now we'll see Samara driving.
Bobby Labonte Labonte, the 2000 NASCAR Winston Cup champion, driving for Coach Joe Gibbs, has had tremendous struggles in these races at Daytona and Talladega this year.
Here comes Matt. Kenseth is waving to the car behind him. He's got to go make a pit stop, telling Elliott Sadler.
With 5 to go, not 3 to go.
What's Randy Gosnell's guy saying?
Something just flew off the 31 car, Benny, coming down the front straightaway. They also told the 16 of Biffle that the 17 is peeled off, so Bobby Labonte won't have any help. You're going to have to go it alone. Keep your eyes on that mirror.
It's going to be a duel. 4 to go.
NASCAR spotters around the racetrack, not calling in any debris. And the race stays at full speed as the championship leader pits. Meantime,
Plus they got 2 lap cars racing in front of them. Oh my God.
That's the problem Bobby's got right now. He doesn't have anybody to help push him by. Biffle.
I didn't really know you would need a pusher. I mean, if you got a car in front of you, I know with today's package, if you got a car in front of you, you don't need a pusher. You can draft up to him.
He might be able to help Bobby, but the problem is if he does that, he'll lose the position of Ryan Newman.
Oh yeah, he's got his teammate right there.
how about experience versus inexperience here? Bobby's been in so many of these races. Greg is not.
Greg, it's his 3rd super speedway race at this point.
Something that experience. That time he moved high up in 3 and 4. Biffle again mirror driving, moved up to block that move.
Seems like if he was faster than him when he was on his own, should be able to get up there and get by him.
Whatever Biffle slides up a little bit, whatever Biffle does, Bobby will do the opposite. And I think you're right. He could force him into, if he makes him run down low, then he'll try to shoot up on the outside and get beside him.
What position is Tony in?
Tony will move up the racetrack or down the racetrack.
He's not even in the top 20. 23rd.
Tony Stewart sliding up front and back behind Bobby and trying to push him around in this last lap or 2.
I'd have done it by now if he was going to do it.
Yeah, that's weird.
Just a couple to go.
2 to go.
But I think Tony will start moving around the racetrack a little bit.
Greg Biffle came up the ladder the NASCAR way, started racing at the local NASCAR sanctioned tracks, went to the regional touring series in the Northwest and Southwest, then became the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series champion after hooking up with Jack Roush, onto the NASCAR Busch Series champion there 1 year ago.
And if the caution flag should come out now, the race is over. They will not red flag this race with less than 5 laps to go.
Matt, what about Biffle?
The guy calling the race from the spotter stand for Greg Biffle is Joel Edmonds, who last night was calling the race for Michael Waltrip. They came home second. He's telling him, keep it on the bottom. The AT will try your
1 to
hardest.
go.
Keep it on the bottom. He has no help.
Ward Burton is on pit road out of gas. White flag is in the air. Final lap. Are we seeing a rookie breakthrough at the biggest track of all? Or can Bobby Labonte get a run and Labonte slow down?
Is he out of gas? Oh, he's out of gas.
Definitely out of fuel. Now Biffle can try and breathe it and make sure he has enough because it's a long way back to Jeff Burton. 3 seconds. What an upset this is going to be. Final corner for Greg Biffle. There'll be a celebration in the Pacific Northwest tonight. There's his girlfriend Nicole. For Jack Roush, Greg Biffle is going to score a win at Daytona.
Wow.
Just his 23rd
That's awesome.
Winston Cup start. Greg Biffle wins the Pepsi 400.
Roush 1-2, and Ricky Rudd comes in third. Another car close with close Jack Roush ties. All right, guys, congratulations to you.
Hell yeah.
Randy Goss, the crew chief's voice there.
Voice of reason.
Call him Radar. Looks a little bit like the actor that played the Radar character in the old MASH series. How about Greg Biffle? First-time winner this season. Just his third Winston Cup start. He's a winner at Daytona. Huge.
I want to see this fucking burnout.
Long way from Vancouver, Washington.
Bobby Labonte coasted all the way across the start-finish line to finish 5th.
The fire department showed up and then they didn't extinguish the fire. What the fuck?
It's happened to me a couple times.
And despite the fact that it was Chevrolets that did most of the leading all night, Matt, a Ford wound up taking the chance.
I wonder if he has enough gas to do a burnout.
The NASCAR Truck Series, the Busch Series, now Winston Cup. Congratulations, Randy.
Unbelievable, unbelievable. I'm just so proud of the guys. Thank you. Thanks, bud. Just so proud of everybody. I don't have to tell you, we've been struggling. The Granger team's been struggling. It's been hard.
Oh, yeah.
For us in Winston Cup, we used to winning. I just want to thank everybody that stuck behind us. Our fab shop, especially our engine shop, our guys in Michigan, they just dig hard for us.
Michigan.
All the guys back at the shop, especially my team. I've worked.
Hell yeah, he's got enough fuel for a burnout.
They just never, ever even complained about it. Just really appreciate it.
How special to pull it off here at Daytona, Randy? This is the biggest one.
Well, it's hard for me right now because we've been struggling so much. We qualified 30th, and you have to get everything just right. My engineer, Dave Winston, you know, I run us out of gas at Sears Point, and now we're gambling on the gas. It works out for us, but it's a tough position.
41 laps on fuel for the former national motorcycle champion. Now he's going to Winston Cup victory lane.
Bill? I just want to tell you, Greg Biffle said you'll have to tell me where victory lane is. I don't know. I just found it.
There it is.
And this will be a wild scene. Yes, it will. Greg Biffle scoring the win at Daytona tonight over his teammate Jeff Burton. A Roush Racing sweep of the first and second spots. Ricky Rudd, Terry and Bobby Labonte rounding out the top five. For Dale Earnhardt Jr. had to make the extra stop on fuel. He finishes seventh.
Greg's always looked the same, dude.
Remember all the good stuff, Biffle.
Getting all the instructions.
All the victory lane stuff.
All right, Bill, take it away. Well, he's been to victory lane a number of times before, but this is his first in the Winston Cup Series, and it comes at Daytona, the sport's most famous track.
Greg Biffle's only super speedway win, too.
What a fucking loser.
Congratulations.
Thanks. I tell you what, that I can't say enough about Matt Kenseth. You know, that guy, there isn't words to explain how he made me win this race tonight. I mean, he backed off the 18 there, and if he had stayed up with him, he'd have pushed him by, and then they were going to go by us on the back stretch, and Matt pulled down and sacrificed a spot for a win for me. And I tell you, these Granger guys have worked so hard. Everybody, I can't say enough about Roush Racing and Ford, this Ford Taurus, really loose, but really fast.
You're a long way from tiny Tucson, Arizona tonight.
Yeah, I am. I just wish that my mom and dad and my brother could be here for my first Cup win and say hi to them back home, and everybody's helped me get here. It's meant a lot to me.
How did you get here, Greg?
This man right here.
Step, buddy.
There's the cat in the hat.
Yeah.
There he is.
Here's the actual team owner right over here, the 16 car, Jeff Smith. These guys are just, we've had a lot of ups and downs and a lot of downs lately. You know, ran out of gas, running 9th to 10th, and got involved with Tony Stewart a few times there and got the short end.
Oh, they even had the Winston girls back in the Winston days. I don't remember that shit. I only remember the Sprint girls.
On this headset, and there's somebody that wants to congratulate you, and you'll probably recognize this voice.
Hey, Biffle, good job.
Thanks, BP. Hi all to you, buddy.
Man, it's been a long time since Tucson, Arizona, hasn't it?
Man, it has, and without your help, getting me hooked up with Jack Roush and everybody out in Tucson, all my buddies, John Sewell and John Baker, everybody's helped me out in Tucson get here tonight. Means a lot to me.
I told Jack Roush 5 or 6 years ago you could get the job done. I wondered, but you finally have proven me right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It was just a pit call by Randy Goss tonight and the team, and last minute I drove down pit road to get that extra bit of fuel. That was kind of my decision, his decision, and it really worked out for us tonight. Didn't work out last week, but it paid off tonight.
Okay, you owe me a big dinner, all right?
Hey, you bet, BP.
Greg Biffle, congratulations on your first Winston Cup win. Enjoy it. Greg Biffle in victory lane, his first Winston Cup win. It comes at Daytona. He can brag for life.
The 45th running of the Pepsi 400 at Daytona was a great one. A lot of drama, first-time winner, and we continue.
I'll watch the rest of the post-race interviews. Fuck it. It's only 9 minutes.
Well, Bobby Labonte ended up with a top 5 finish quietly across the line, out of fuel. What did that feel like when you knew you were in contention to win this thing?
Well, you know, I just want to thank all the guys on the Interstate Battery Chevrolet. Yesterday we weren't that good in the first practice. Got a lot better in the second practice, and had a great race car. You know, not only did we, you know, gamble there, and or not gamble, but we were able to get that gas and not have to pit like some other guys did. But it was a pretty fast race car, too. I mean, wasn't as good as some of them, but it was, you know, probably top 10. And then, you know, it's kind of disappointing to finish 5th when you think you had a shot for a win or finish 2nd at least, you know. But that's the way it goes, and, you know, still pretty happy. This is probably like the first restrictor plate race I've finished in about 4 years. So
I feel not on your top or anything. Or, yeah.
Dude, I'm happy about that. But the guys did a good job. That's what it was all about. Wish we could have won, but, you know, congratulate Greg Biffle. And, you know, our guys did a great job, and we came home 5th out of gas and everything. So, you know, all in all, that would, you know, sometimes we wouldn't have been able to do that, but tonight, the way the circumstances were, we finished 5th like that.
All right, still looking for a win, but pretty positive about tonight. Marty?
Well, Dave, Jeff Burton was told on the radio that he was half a lap short, so exactly when did
There's
the
the
fuel
governor.
conservation begin, Jeff?
When we left pit road, really. As soon as we left, he said we were half a lap short, and so if you can't save at the beginning of it, you'll never get a chance to save. So we kind of got out of the middle of the pack and just sat there and rode for a little while, just trying to not lose the pack. And then we got kind of behind, and then I had to stay in the gas and go, but and kept, you know, was hoping we didn't run out of gas. But good day for us. We ran well. We not only finished well, but we ran well tonight. And you know, this team in the second half is going to be strong. I really believe that. Real proud of Greg Biffle and those guys. Big fan of Greg Biffle and Randy Goss, and glad to see them in victory lane.
Conserving fuel cost you a shot at the win, you think?
Well, it cost us a shot from being there, just because I wasn't worried about being there. I was worried about just staying in line and lifting. I was running a half throttle an awful lot, and so people were passing me. But you know, sometimes you got to win with your brain and not your foot, and we thought that was the position we were in.
Nonetheless, the season's best finish of 2nd tonight at Daytona for Jeff Burton. Alan? Let's check NASCAR's top 10 after tonight's Pepsi 400. Matt Kenseth's lead actually growing from 174 points to 180, with Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Jeff Gordon swapping 2nd and 3rd positions.
Wow, seeing Michael 5th in the points halfway through the season is weird. There's Matt.
It turned out great. We didn't. It looked pretty glum on Friday, you know, qualifying 30th.
God, he's always sounded the same. He's never really looked the same, but he's always sounded the same.
They had great pit stops. We had good pit strategy. We stopped and topped off once, but we didn't top off with one to go. And we're just a teeny bit short on fuel and couldn't quite take the chance. So for the 16, that was a great move for them, and the 99 and them guys. You know, they were either going to win or run out and finish 20th. So I was kind of glad we did it like it was. But yet, on the other hand, you know, if we would have topped off, I knew it would have been real close. But you know, I'd rather finish 6th than to run out of gasoline. So it's a good run for us.
Now it seems like at Daytona and Talladega, always a place where you get caught up in the big one, lose a lot of points. You dodged a big bullet tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I think it happened. I definitely, I'd be lying if I say I don't feel better walking out of here tonight 6th than when I came in here starting last. You know, I wasn't really necessarily looking forward to this race, but our car handled really good. It actually drafted really good. I don't know why it's so slow by itself, but it runs, you know, really competitively in the race. So to be through all 3 plate races and not have a wreck yet, I'm just happy with that.
Matt Kenseth pads his point lead. On to Chicago next. Alan?
Sometimes you got to be a little lucky to win one of these NASCAR Winston Cup championships. Nice job of driving. Little luck there, too, for Matt Kenseth, missing that big pileup off of turn number 2 earlier in the race. And the Rockets' red glare.
Isn't that beautiful?
The big Independence Weekend celebration.
There's already a hauler leaving.
And there's a celebration of another kind. Time for the champagne. How about it, Dave?
Well, Ricky Rudd will be celebrating with the Wood Brothers. Another top 5 for them here at Daytona. But for you, best finish of the season's got to feel great.
Yeah, I really do. You know, John Wood, Eddie Wood's son, won the truck race today, and it's been nice to sneak in there and win this thing. And you know, Biffle, is good job for him, his first win. And Rouse Racing was pretty neat, 1, 2, 3 on their motors tonight. Just Wood Brothers, Motorcraft, Air Force Tours, these guys just played at Pat Trice and played a smart race. They set that fuel strategy thing up about lap 100, and wasn't but a few guys that could do it or thought about it, and Pat was one of them, and it put us in 3rd.
If you have a great handling car as well tonight, they say at Daytona, you've got to be able to work it in the turns as well. How was your car?
Well, our car, the longer we ran, the better we were. You know, we were sort of set up for the old days when they had the big fuel cell, I guess. The longer we ran, the better we got. And right there at the end of that race, we were able to pass a lot of cars when we got everybody out on 2 tires, us included. We were pretty racy. We could, you know, hang with the leaders, pass a few cars, and we're going to have a good finish, really, contrary to the fuel situation. But as it turns out, the fuel situation probably increases probably at least 7 spots on the grid.
And you like being welcomed back into the top 5?
Yeah, I don't know how to act. I was walking back to the motorhome a while ago, and everybody started grabbing me. I didn't know what all the hoopla was about. I guess top 5 has got a few responsibilities, but they're great responsibilities to be able to sit here and talk with you guys after the race.
Well, it's great to have you here, and of course, we're doing a little extra time tonight here on NBC, so it's a good time to have you finish in the top 5, Ricky. Let's go to Bill Weber.
And I'm with probably the happiest man in Daytona, Jack Roush, Greg Biffle,
There he is.
Lane, Matt Kenseth,
There's
dodges a
the
bullet,
cat in the hat.
lead in the championship.
He's got a hat.
That's wonderful stuff.
Always
you
wears
know,
a
I'm glad
hat.
to have my son,
What a fucking
Jack,
dump.
here with me tonight.
Now he's blind in one eye.
So many friends from the great race. But we
I gotta get dressed for the gym.
Huh?
I gotta get dressed for the gym. Well, actually, I'm going to go ask Scott first if he wants to go now.
And the car had enough speed to stay with the group he was with and not be caught by the faster Chevrolets that were behind us. We still have a 1997 Ford racing against 2003 Chevrolets, Pontiacs, and Dodges. I can't wait till 2004 and get a new car.
The preceding was a paid political announcement. I wanted to be in that meeting where you decided on the strategy to go ahead and start all those cars in the back.
Well, we didn't. The strategy was that the crew chiefs made their decision that they wanted cars that handled down here rather than cars that had Talladega speed. So they chose good handling cars. They weren't very fast. Maybe they didn't have much power. They didn't burn a lot of gas. Here we stand.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Marty. Bill Dale Earnhardt Jr. finished 7th, arguably probably the best car tonight, but had you not had the fuel strategy situation, could you have won the race?
We would have been up there, had a chance to win it. I think Kevin Harvick had a great car.
Guess I'm leaving at 3 instead of 2 today.
Man, what a great place to get your first victory. He must really be enjoying himself. I'm sure he will be tomorrow anyways. But we, you know, we did all we could, but, you know, just come up a little short. We couldn't take the chance some of them guys could in the back on fuel.
After this, I am going to pee. I'm going to do the boxes. I'm going to play Sims for a little bit. I'm going to plug in my wheel and do some testing at Red Bull because my race is Saturday. And then I'm going to maybe truck.
You know, it's all we could do, so we're pretty happy.
He's a good car. Was he better than you were, Junior?
It's possible he was. It looked like when I was leading, he could pass a little bit frequently, more frequently than I could. I just don't know whether my car wasn't any good or I didn't have any friends out there, but my car was fine. The drivers just got to be able to suck it up and make the best of the situation. And I tried to do the best I could and wound up with another top 10, so that's good enough.
Led a lot tonight, but finished 7th. Matt?
And 7th in points coming into tonight's race, Jimmy Johnson. You battled back and forth with adversity all night.
We had a great car, and I really learned a lot about the draft. And, you know, since I have forward progress, guys will line up behind me, and because they think I'll get to the front, they'll help you. So it's nice now to have the aggressiveness on the track, but, you know, that I've always had. But now I've got people that believe in me that'll help me, and we've been able to work from, you know, we were taking 4 the whole time, the other guys were taking 2, and we were having to fight back through there again, and we could do it each time.
Now, at one point, it seemed like that there was I want to say, a battle back and forth as far as deal making between the 29 and yourself.
Yeah, we were trying to work some stuff out, and you know, it's hard to know how patient somebody's going to be, and then when you have a big push from behind you, you've got to do something with it. And we tried to work some deals together, but it never really came together. And you know, he hung me out once, so I hung him out once. We tried again, we hung each other out again. So it's just plate racing.
And did you have issues with Todd Bodine as well? We saw something at the end of the race.
Yeah, I don't know if the spotter wasn't watching or what, but I went in on the outside of him into turn 1, and he drove me clean into the fence. So over there talking to him about it, and like normal, he doesn't know what he did or understand what happened. I'm over there yelling at him, and he thought it was from the lap before. So he just doesn't have a clue sometimes. It took us out of a good finish, but just part of it. We'll be back next week.
And the good news for you, we're going on to Chicago, a very special place in your racing career.
Yeah, it's a great place. One of my first Busch race there. Looking forward to going back. It's Chad's hometown track.
Won his only
and
Busch race there.
It's going to be quick, so we're looking forward to it.
Let's talk also about the big one. You made a great move to avoid that.
We got lucky. I saw the smoke, and I saw Kurt's car sitting sideways for a long time, and I didn't really know which way to go. Finally, I picked my lane, and I got down on the flat and was able to get by him, and it was real lucky. It was a close call.
With Jimmy Johnson, the fireworks going off in the air. He's on to Chicago next.
Oh, that was abrupt. Dear God. Well.
Hi.